Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content. Thank you.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. We be doing the most in this country. Donald Trump know he be doing the most in this damn country. And I didn't realize he had done as much as he has done. Is he trying to start a war? I think not necessarily a war, but maybe a coup.
Well, President Trump is in a heated exchange with the president of Colombia over a deadly U.S. strike in the Caribbean. The Colombian president says the U.S. killed an innocent fisherman last month. The Trump administration says it's all part of a campaign against alleged drug cartels. ABC's Avery Harper has a closer look.
Strikes like this are at the center of an escalating fight between Colombia and the Trump administration. 3 men were killed by a strike in the Caribbean Sea Friday, one of 7 deadly U.S. strikes in recent weeks. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claiming, without providing evidence, they were affiliated with a Colombian insurgency group. Now, Trump calling the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, an illegal drug leader threatening to cut off aid from the country considered a U.S. ally.
They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia, and we're not going to be part of this.
Petro, in a statement accusing the U.S. of killing an innocent fisherman, writing, U.S. government officials have committed murder and violated our sovereignty and territorial waters. The Colombian boat was adrift. It had its distress signal up due to an engine failure. Trump has declared that the U.S. is in an armed conflict to justify killing the suspected smugglers rather than arresting them. But the administration has provided no evidence to back the claim that the 32 people who have been killed were attempting to smuggle drugs. Lawmakers from both parties are sounding the alarm.
They had a very hard time explaining to us the rationale, the legal rationale for doing this and the constitutionality of doing it.
All of these people have been blown up without us knowing their name, without any evidence of a crime.
President Trump also moving to penalize Colombia, threatening to impose new tariffs on the country. Avery Harper, ABC News.
That's wild. See what happened in late August. Donald Trump's administration began sending large U.S. Navy and military forces to the Southern Caribbean, especially in the area of Venezuela, right? The White House said this buildup was meant to stop drugs flowing into U.S. from Venezuela and surrounding cities. Just crazy. Then in early September, the U.S. announced that it had carried out a strike on a small boat in the international or near international waters, alleging the boat was carrying narcotics and was affiliated with Venezuelan drug people, right? President said the boat was loaded with drugs and the people were aboard were narco terrorists. U.S. destroyed the vessel, killing everybody on board. As you can see, it blew up, according to U.S. claim. Okay, since then, there have been several other explosions. Hold on. Several other explosions in mid and late September, right? Each targeting small vessels. U.S. said they was transferring drugs to U.S. One was publicly announced on October 3rd. Then the Pete Hegseth, he said a vehicle off Venezuela had been hit, and there was 4 people that were killed. Then on October 14th, another strike was announced. 6 people were killed. These actions sparked strong pushback internationally, simply because these are international waters, with questions about whether the U.S. has shown us enough proof to be doing this, whether the strikes follow international law, and what the ultimate goal is. Is it just drug intervention? What's going on? You can't do that simply because these are international waters. International waters. Okay? And the definition of international waters is they're called high seas. High seas. They're parts of the ocean not owned or controlled by any one nation. How you blowing shit up? How you blowing shit up in a pool that we all own? How you doing that? Okay. The lines, the international line begins I think about 13 miles off the coast of your country. Off the coast of the country line of the country, where their territorial sea ends, I guess, the territorial extent. Beyond this point, the ocean is considered open and shared by all nations. So how you shooting down or blowing up ships that are in the international water? Okay, those are shared by all nations, and is governed mainly by international laws, especially the United Nations Convention of the Laws of the Sea. So what the hell are you doing? So what's supposed to happen? What can happen? What can happen on international seas is there's freedom of navigation. All ships and aircrafts can freely travel without interference from any country. Fishing and resource use. You don't know that, Black America. You can't just blow up a boat because you think they got drugs on them. You got to stop them and see if there's drugs on them. Fishing and resource use. Countries can fish and collect resources, but must follow international conservation agreements. Submarine cables and pipeline. Any nation can install communication cables or energy pipelines under agreed environmental standards. Okay. Scientific research. Countries can conduct marine research as long as this does not harm the environment or violate the international treaties. Peaceful passage, which is what these boats were doing. Vehicles from all nations have the right to move through the high seas peacefully. And self-defense. Military ships may defend themselves if attacked, but must not use the area for aggression or illegal military activity. What cannot happen? Piracy. Acts of robbery, violence, hostage taking at sea are illegal and punishable under international law. Punishable under international law. Not death. Not death. You don't get to kill people because they got drugs on their boat. You cannot do slave trading, transporting or trading people as slaves. Drug trafficking, using ships to smuggle illegal substances violates international law. Unauthorized military operations. No nation can claim, control, or use force in the high seas except for self-defense under UN authority. Pollution or dumping. Dumping toxic or radioactive waste. You cannot do that. Illegal fishing, which means overfishing, using banned equipment or fishing in protected zones is frowned upon. Claiming territory. You cannot claim territory. No country can claim ownership of any part of international waters or the seabed. Interference with other nations' vessels. Ships must not interfere with or harass vessels or another flag state unless enforcing lawful international measures. Enforcement and oversight. Ships in international waters fall under the jurisdiction of the country whose flag they fly. Certain crimes like piracy, slavery can be prosecuted by any nation. The UN Convention of Law serves as the main legal framework. An international marine organization sets global safety policy. So, how is it illegal? How is it legal what he is doing? It can be legal only in small circumstances. Lawful claim of self-defense under the UN Security Council authorization or some specific context, and many international lawyers and lawmakers say these recent strikes that Trump is carrying out raises a lot of serious questions because they think they're illegal. Okay? They think they're legal. Okay? U.S. forces have publicly carried out multiple strikes on small vehicles in the Caribbean near Venezuela. The House and Pentagon released videos of this shit. They ain't capturing no criminals. They're just killing the criminals. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Navy conducting a strike on a ship carrying illegal drugs through the Caribbean. It's part of what the Trump administration is calling a crackdown on drug trafficking from Venezuela. And as Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reports, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warns it may not be the last time such action is taken by the U.S.
Days after warships deployed to the Caribbean, American forces struck a vessel carrying what President Trump describes as a drug shipment from Venezuela.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat.
Unclassified drone video shared from the president last night appears to show a speedboat going up in flames. Though Venezuela's communications minister claims on social media the footage was created with artificial intelligence. The Pentagon says the strike killed 11 members of the Tren de Aragua gang. No U.S. forces were harmed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth denied the video is fake.
This is a deadly serious mission for us, and it won't stop with just this strike.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration designated Tren de Aragua and several other drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. But Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro says the buildup of U.S. warships in the region is actually aimed at regime change.
Venezuela is facing the greatest threat that the continent has seen in the last 100 years.
This comes as Secretary of State Marco Rubio continues his three-day trip to Mexico and Ecuador to discuss efforts to stop drug cartels and illegal immigration.
The president is going to be on offense against drug cartels and drug trafficking in the United States. It destabilizes not just the country, but the entire Caribbean basin.
Secretary Rubio says the drugs on board that boat were likely headed to Trinidad or another country in the Caribbean before ultimately coming to the United States. In Washington, Lucas Tomlinson, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Now, this is why President Trump said they did it. The administration stated that the U.S. is engaged in non-international armed conflict with drug trafficking organizations operating in the Caribbean and Latin American region. So they invoked the right of self-defense under the UN Article 51. They haven't publicly cited the UN Council authorization, but that's what they're trying to pull it. They say it. This is why they're doing it. The vessels that were struck are linked with groups that the U.S. administration has designated as foreign terrorist organizations, FTOs, or narco-terrorist networks. For example, the Venezuelan group Tren de Aragua is cited. But here's the thing. You can't just go and kill people because you think they have drugs on board. You can't go and just kill people. That's the problem. Even if you say it falls under the UN Council's Security Council's Article 51. The strikes are claimed to be in international waters. International waters, you can't just do anything in international waters. These are international waters. Okay? You have to, people are free to come and go in those international waters. Okay, the strikes are claimed to be in international water beyond the territorial sea of Venezuela. Beyond the territorial sea of Venezuela. 12 nautical miles zone to be exact. So reducing the legal requirement of direct coastal state consent, according to the administration's narrative, right? Whether drug trafficking vessels or not, even if tied to cartels or drug trafficking, maybe they don't qualify under international law as legitimate armed attack targets, a requirement under that self-defense in the UN Council. And it's highly disputed. many legal scholars are saying, people are saying, the direct threat to the United States has not been met. That criteria has not been met. Whether operating in international waters or automatically allowing lethal force, even in a hot pursuit scenario, they still contesting what the administration is saying. Okay. High seas is used for peaceful resources only. The administration hasn't provided any proof, any documentation. They've provided limited public evidence. We can't tell what's going on those damn boats. Okay, we ain't seen no cargo. We ain't seen no destination. We ain't seen no threat profile. So the legal claims are not valid so far. Okay, and now they starting to get questions from people. Let's look at another one. Okay, let's look at another one. What's going on? So it's considered cold-blooded murder. That's the way I look at it. I'm looking at it like that. Looking at it like it's cold-blooded murder. Okay. The Trump administration's claims that strikes are lawful because they view them as part of an armed conflict against cartels, which justifies military force under self-defense, the self-defense doctrine and counterterrorism policy. No, because it's happening in international waters where the U.S. asserts authority. Shut up, Robert. Grow the fuck up. What do you mean? Because I hate America. Are you nuts? So just because you show us a bunch of blown up boats don't mean this shit is legal. It means nothing. It just means that you blowing up boats. Okay? And you don't have the right to just blow up boats. That's my whole point. Okay? But here's the thing. Let's listen to some other what the hell is it called? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's listen to some video file. Hold on. Is it a video file? Let me see. Both. Here it is. Hold on. Here we go.
Venezuela and the United States go to war. What would the outcome look like? Let's analyze it. The GDP of Venezuela is about $100 billion, while the GDP of the United States is as high as $25 trillion. In terms of military strength analysis, the total number of fighter jets in Venezuela is around 40. The number of fighter jets in the United States is over 13,200. Venezuela has no aircraft carriers. The United States, on the other hand, has 11 active aircraft carriers. From the perspective of active military personnel, the total number of active military personnel in Venezuela is about 120,000, while the number of active military personnel in the United States is 2 million. From the analysis of the number of nuclear warheads, Venezuela owns none, while the number of nuclear warheads owned by the United States is 5,428. However, Venezuela controls some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, which could become a powerful weapon in global energy markets, potentially drawing other nations into the conflict. From the above data analysis, what do you think? Can the United States defeat Venezuela, or would Venezuela's unique strengths change the balance of power?
I don't think this was a drug boat. I don't think this was a drug boat for a minute, and I don't think you should either. First of all, there were 11 people on this boat. That boat looks relatively small. Where are they putting the substances that they say that they were shipping? Another thing that no one's talking about that I think they should is that in America, if somebody's trafficking a substance, the penalty is not death. I think that these are either migrants or fishers that got caught up in whatever this administration is trying to prove. Even the New York Times is adding a little context to this, basically saying Venezuela doesn't produce much, but it helps move it around the world, and that it plays virtually no role in the trade. One thing that the Trump administration is trying to do is say that when they bring it over here, they lace it. They're even saying that the naval buildup isn't likely to prevent much smuggling, and that the strike seems intended to make a point. The article then goes on to say, unlike Mexican cartels, Venezuelan gangs rely more on local extortion than on drug trafficking to generate money. And about 74% of all illicit substances come through the Pacific. So what do you think? Leave a comment.
Wave after wave, wave after wave.
Happened with this attack on a fishing boat, which has now created a huge public political firestorm for the Trump administration. A problem that he nor the United States needed. And it's all coming from a Columbia press report that the strike on a boat on September the 15th, the second attack carried out by the United States in the Caribbean, was a Colombian boat, and it was in Colombian territorial waters. And at least one of the 3 victims extrajudicially killed in the strike was Colombian lifelong fisherman Alejandro Carranza. Alejandro's identity is confirmed by his cousin. The Colombian boat was adrift and had its distress signal up due to an engine failure. If you continue down here to the second post on this report, straight out of Colombia, according to Captain Leonardo Vega, instructor and fishing companion of the murdered fisherman Alejandro Carranza, the video clearly shows that the boat was adrift with one engine raised. For us, that means that it is damaged and in a state of emergency, which according to international law means that if a boat is in a state of emergency and adrift, it is necessary to go to its aid and help. But did that happen? No. It was misidentified and destroyed by an American missile, meaning it's now an American problem. Congratulations, Donald Trump. You did not need to do any of this, but now you're just bringing more problems to America's doorstep. Problems that are so far removed from America First that it's not even funny. And this, by the way, has striking parallels to the collateral murder video that was leaked by Julian Assange and WikiLeaks back in the day, where you had helicopter pilots misidentifying journalists carrying cameras and microphones which they claimed were weapons, and then shot at them with these attack helicopters, and then shot at the people who came to help them afterwards. Massive war crime. Well, turns out we've learned nothing from that. Turns out we've learned nothing from misidentifying targets, from having itchy trigger fingers, from wanting to shoot first, ask questions later. This is why this type of foreign policy does not work. It never works, and it only leads you down the path of destruction.
So remember this boat that Trump bombed off the coast of Venezuela, claiming that there are drug smugglers? Well, it turns out that U.S. officials are now telling the New York Times that this very boat was in the process of turning around before it was struck. This is a clear violation of United Nations law at the sea, in which ships are protected as long as they're not violating a state's coastal security. Turning away is the clear sign of non-aggression, yet the Trump administration still bombed them, taking 11 civilian lives. Do you think that Donald Trump should be brought before an international court?
Donald Trump blew up a boat full of civilians off the coast of Venezuela. They were not Tren de Aragua gang members. They were not smuggling drugs. It was a boat full of 11 civilians. And Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth blew them up and killed them. That is according to reporting out yesterday from The Intercept in an article written by Nick Turse, T-U-R-S-E. A high-ranking Pentagon official confirmed that the Trump boat strike was a criminal attack on civilians and that the boat was full of civilians. Remember that Donald Trump had said it was a boat full of drug smugglers. It was Tren de Aragua. The Trump administration had previously designated Tren de Aragua as an international terrorist organization, and he also wants to topple and remove Venezuelan President Maduro. I don't know why he has such a hard-on for Venezuela and President Maduro. I think it may be, him acting out the courts saying that he is not permitted to use or invoke the Alien Enemies Act relative to Tren de Aragua to deport all Venezuelans without due process. That has angered him greatly. So maybe he's just taking out that frustration on the country of Venezuela, and in the process, they just fucking blew up a boat full of 11 Venezuelan civilians, just 11 guys who were just out in a boat. I mean, anybody who saw that video, it seemed fairly obvious to me. First of all, you don't put 11 people on a boat that's smuggling drugs, like actively smuggling drugs. Second, when you're smuggling drugs, you don't use an open boat that has no covering on it. Third, Trump organization said that they were smuggling drugs to the United States. That's a 2,000-mile trip. It's a 2,000-mile trip in a small open boat with 11 people in it. I mean, anyway, and currently U.S. law, such as like the Coast Guard or the military in the Caribbean, they are allowed to stop boats they suspect of drug smuggling. They're allowed to board those boats. They're allowed to detain the people on board. They're allowed to search the boat, confiscate any drugs, bring all of those drugs and those people back to the United States for prosecution. You're not allowed to just fucking blow them up. It's a total violation of international law. Even if it was what Trump said it was, it's still a violation of international law. Trump's designation of Tren de Aragua as an international terrorist organization, that designation is purely a domestic law enforcement designation. It offers no authority for the military to use deadly force, especially when they don't know who the people are or what they're doing. They just targeted a boat full of 11 people and just fucking blew it up. Killed 11 people because that boat came from Venezuela. Two U.S. government officials said anonymously to the author of this article that Pete Hegseth's justification that it was a Tren de Aragua drug boat, that justification and that narrative took shape after the attack had happened. So now Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth just murdered 11 random guys from Venezuela. And I'm sure Congress will get right on this and open up investigations in the House and the Senate. They just straight up fucking murdered people. Just murdered them.
Somebody is lying about this Venezuelan drug boat situation, and the story is not adding up. Just so we're on the same page, a couple of months ago, the Trump administration designated cartels as foreign terrorists. So they've been saying that they're about to get serious about stopping this drug trade. And I didn't know it meant this. The U.S. didn't say, hey, we spotted a drug boat, we stopped them, we seized everything they had, we arrested everybody, and we're bringing them to justice. They said we spotted it in international waters and killed everybody on board with a precision strike. Now, Trump said that these were all confirmed traffickers and that this should be a warning to anybody trying to bring this stuff into America to harm Americans. But the BBC said they're not actually sure it was legal. Apparently it violates the law of the sea, which the U.S. apparently didn't sign but tries to follow. They also claim it's a human rights violation because you can't just kill people unless you're under attack and it's self-defense, which the U.S. may legitimately believe that it is defense. They're defending the country from these smugglers and these drugs that are killing people. But others say they're not really sure if that definition applies here, and that just because you just started calling them terrorists doesn't automatically turn them into military targets. And then they said only Congress can declare war. Now, the president can authorize a strike against military targets, but they're not really sure if that applies to people who've joined cartels. But none of this even matters because here's the kicker. Venezuela thinks it's fake. They said the video was straight up AI. Their communications guy said that Marco Rubio is lying and trying to drag Trump into a war. They said that explosion looks like a cartoon, the water looks fake. I mean, they went in. They broke down why they weren't buying it. So Pete Hegseth got on Fox News and said, no, it wasn't fake. I watched it live. We knew everybody who was in that boat, what they were doing, and who they represented. So I don't know what's going on here. But welcome to the future where nothing is real anymore. Everything can be AI. Like if these videos help and follow forward.
This is absolutely insane. Another boat has been downed by the United States.
The U.S. military has again attacked a boat in the Caribbean, alleged to be carrying drugs from Venezuela, bound for the United States.
President Trump made the announcement on social media, saying he had ordered the attack and that 3 people on the boat were killed.
And again, he says, be warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we're hunting you. Now, my personal belief is they are provoking a war with Venezuela under the guise of it being this drug, trying to stop the drugs. I don't know what's going on, but we live in a country where you're supposed to get due process. And you might say, well, but they're not in our country. Well, are you bombing boats in international waters? Are you bombing boats in Venezuelan waters? I don't know which one's worse. I'm not good with this, the sort of the geopolitics here going on, but this is insanity, absolute insanity. Maybe there were drugs. We'll never know. The evidence is gone. They've sunk to the ocean floor, and we're just supposed to be okay with it. And folks will leave comments saying, Dave, if you had a family member who died from fentanyl, you would understand. No, the fuck I wouldn't. You know why? I'm okay with, why don't you just wait for those boats, track them. Once they get into U.S. waters, raid them like the Coast Guard, take a big pretty photo of all the drugs you seized, and arrest them. What the hell are you talking about? We should be okay with what's going on here. This is an unbelievable abuse of power. Just watching them absolutely smoke, not to mention how much money is this costing us, so no, I do not support it. Do it the right way. It's like, show your math. Here's what Trump had to say.
It's spattered all over the ocean, big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place. And plus we have recorded evidence that they were leaving.
By the way, if you blow up a bunch of fentanyl, that's really bad if that washes ashore. That could kill people, right? I mean, what are we talking about?
We know what time they were leaving, when they were leaving, what they had, and all of the other things that you'd like to have. First, when we went, there were hundreds of boats. Now there are no boats. I wonder why.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to do it. That's like a dad who uses force to stop his kids from drinking. It's like, yeah, you can beat the shit out of your kids all you want, but they're not going to show up to Thanksgiving once they're adults. There has to be some diplomacy with how you play it.
Hey guys, breaking news on Donald Trump's having killed 11 people on some random boat off the coast of Venezuela using a $100,000 missile. Bombshell New York Times report proved 2 things to show this operation is all screwed up. Things are starting to totally unravel. Keep your focus here. Number 1, apparently the Pentagon is trying to come up with a justification for having killed these people, like the legal basis for having done so, after the fact. And they still hadn't fixed it as of Wednesday. Now, obviously, if you didn't have the right and justification to kill these people before they were dead, you can't fix it later. It doesn't work like that. It's too late. Number 2, Marco Rubio said on Tuesday that the boat was headed to Trinidad. Well, that contradicts the whole purpose, justification for having killed them, according to Trump, according to the White House, that, they were sending dangerous drugs to the United States. But then on Wednesday, he said that, in fact, it was going to the United States. So, number 1, he made a mistake. Number 2, it shows the operation's all screwed up. I've done targeting operations in combat in Ukraine, and I can tell you something stinks to high heaven about this. And furthermore, how could he say that we killed 11 people on a boat going to Trinidad from Venezuela? Since when do we kill people going between third countries? What's the difference between that and killing tourists going from Italy to Greece or Japan to Australia? It makes no damn sense. Keep your focus here. We got to hold these people accountable.
JD Vance got called out on Twitter for lying about the Venezuelan boat the Trump administration attacked for no reason, and look at his response. It's absolutely chilling. So he originally says unaliving cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Then Brian calls him out saying unaliving the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime, which he's absolutely right. Then JD Vance shamelessly says, I don't care what you call it. Yeah, that's right. This administration commits war crimes, and they don't care what we have to say say about it? Who do they think they are? But what's even worse is all of the brainwashed Trump supporters who are saying, I voted for this best VP in history. Here's the reality of the situation. So they attacked a Venezuelan boat and they claimed it was filled with cartel members. Except there's no proof of that at all. Independent reports have confirmed there was no evidence these people were cartel members or smugglers. They were fishermen, civilians, just normal people trying to survive. And now they're not here anymore because of this reckless, trigger-happy approach that J.D. Vance is bragging about. That's not tough. That's not patriotic. That is called committing a war crime. There's no other way to put it. You can't just unalive people of another nation without trial, without evidence, or without due process. That's not only immoral, it's illegal under international law. And the Vice President of the United States is just shrugging this off, saying, I don't care what you guys have to say. What he's really saying is that human lives and international law mean absolutely nothing.
And there we have it. And there we have it. We have people in the chat justifying murder. You have people in the chat justifying murder. Oh, we got to get the libs. Oh, the Dems is crying. The Dems are crying. No, this is a moral issue. That's why I know you Republicans don't stand on jack shit. Y'all don't stand on shit. You don't have no moral compass. You have no moral values. You have nothing. You have a person at the head of your Republican Party doing illegal things, and you guys are co-signing. That's why I know y'all never sign. I always say it. You Republicans never stand on anything. You never stand on anything. Any way the wind blows, y'all go, which means y'all don't stand on nothing. That's why don't nobody want to go over there, because you don't stand on nothing. Okay? We're talking about Donald Trump murdering people in the Caribbean. And all y'all can say is, the Dems are crying. The libs are crying. You don't stand on nothing. You don't stand on nothing. There are laws that govern our behavior in the world. There are laws that govern our president. He can't just do whatever he wants to do. And you all co-sign that. You co-sign him saying, grabbing the pussy. You co-sign him violating the Constitution when it came to illegal immigrants. You're co-signing him trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment. You're co-signing everything. You don't stand for nothing. You Republicans don't stand for nothing. You MAGAs don't stand for nothing. And yet you want people to see what you see. You're not Christian. I'm more Christian than you. You're co-signing this garbage. How are you co-signing garbage like this? And you never hold your side accountable. You never hold him accountable. Ever. Ever. For once, hold your leader accountable. I know he a clown, but hold him accountable. He is killing people in the Caribbean free. And y'all saying, oh, those Dems, cry harder, Dems. Cry harder, y'all. You're co-signing murder. That's why y'all don't stand on nothing. You don't stand on nothing. Not even your Christian values. You don't stand on nothing. That's wild.
U.S. bombing boats in the Caribbean. You probably didn't know this, but the U.S. has launched 4 deadly strikes in the Caribbean in the last month. And the latest target? A small boat off Venezuela. This is insane, like a scene from a movie. And guess what? The U.S. Defense Secretary called it a strike against narco-terrorists. President Trump claimed the boat carried enough drugs to kill 25,000 to 50,000 people. The details remain scarce. No names, no investigation, no transparency. The Caribbean is more than paradise. It's a corridor for drugs into the U.S. Up to 14% of cocaine entering the United States passes through these waters. And historically, the U.S. has long treated this region as its backyard, from Panama to Grenada, and now Venezuela. Some experts say these strikes aren't just about drugs. Oil, influence, and regional control may be the real motives. And with minimal oversight, the world may never know the full story behind these deadly operations. This is just the beginning. The Caribbean is quietly becoming the front lines of a shadow war, and it's happening right under our noses.
To have asked
This outboard boat was 2,700 miles. How do we know it was coming to the U.S.? So they may be selling drugs in Trinidad.
We are the
in
destination point for whatever percentage of drugs coming out of Central and South America.
Maybe. You don't think anybody in the Caribbean's using drugs? What if they're selling the drugs in Trinidad? Are we now the police for Trinidad?
Well, they always say,
we're going to blow up every boat. It's just insane. You can't blow up
what
every
I want to
ship
say, Senator,
that you
is
think
I always
might
get
have
this.
drugs.
U.S. military struck down a small boat off the coast of Venezuela yesterday that it accuses of trafficking narcotics. All 6 passengers on board were killed in the strike. This is the administration's 5th deadly strike in the Caribbean since September, killing more than 24 people. Here is Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky denouncing the strikes last week.
When they interdict boats, it's a common thing off the coast of Miami and California.
Yeah.
About 25% of the time, the boat that they board doesn't have drugs on it. So they've made an error, but they don't kill them. But we've blown up 4 boats now, and if the percentages hold true, I don't think you can have a universal Coast Guard policy of just blowing up boats before they're interdicted.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has been talking about weak men in Congress. I will tell you, old chairman that I worked for on the Hill, that chairman of the Armed Services Committee, would not be so weak. If things like this were happening, they wouldn't care who the president was. They wouldn't care who the SecDef was. They would call them before the committee and they would do their constitutional duty. And that is, they would provide oversight. Where are these men? Where are these women on Capitol Hill? At what point does oversight, constitutionally mandated oversight, that every real man running a committee back when I was in Congress and real woman back when I was in Congress would be conducting basic oversight? Listen, if these are drug dealers, if these people are coming to bring poison to the United States and kill our children with their drugs, okay, as Rand Paul said, give us the names, give us the organization, give us the evidence that you had that had you commit this extrajudicial killing without telling members of the House and the Senate Armed Services Committee. We're not asking you to embrace narco-terrorists. We're asking you to follow the Constitution and especially members of the Armed Services Committee.
Absolutely.
Members of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Foreign Relations Committee. Call them to the Hill and get answers. Not because you don't like the administration, not because you're not being loyal to Donald Trump, but because you're being faithful to the Constitution and you need answers. This is not even hard. You can like Donald Trump and like the Constitution at the same time. If you're a member of Congress, get the oversight like you're supposed to do based on the Constitution.
We're off the coast of Venezuela.
Y'all hit the like button, please. Hit the like button.
Is blown to smithereens.
Hit the like button.
Vice President Vance announces that killing cartel members that poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military.
Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, please.
When challenged that killing citizens without due process is a war crime, the Vice President's response is that he doesn't give a shit. What we are doing in practice means that a terrorist is whoever the executive branch decides to label one. You are a terrorist because you are labeled one. You can be killed because you are called a terrorist. But where in all of this is some sort of evidence that you are guilty of something?
I move to discharge the Committee on Foreign Relations from further consideration of SJ Res 83 to direct the removal of the United States Armed Forces from hostilities that have not been authorized by Congress, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
On this vote, the yeas are 48, the nays are 51, and the motion is not agreed to. Order.
So they decided.
Probably saw that the president has blown another ship out of the water, again claiming that these were narco-terrorists and somehow that he has the authority to do this. He does not. I'm drafting a war powers resolution to put a stop to these extrajudicial killings, but also to reassert Congress's power. It is our power to declare war or authorize the use of force or to refuse to do so. And these lawless killings are just putting us at risk, because it means other countries now may decide to blow an American ship out of the water and claim that it was engaged in drug trafficking. You can imagine what our response to that would be. I don't want to see us get into some war with Venezuela because the president is just blowing ships willy-nilly out of the water. This, I hope, will enjoy bipartisan support in the Senate. We've seen at least one Republican senator speak out against this kind of lawless action, but we need to put a stop to this. I prosecuted drug traffickers for many years. There is a tough way to fight this, and it is not by just arrogating to yourself the decision, I'm just going to blow people up.
Is just one step closer to war with Venezuela today. Donald Trump today ended efforts to reach a diplomatic agreement with Venezuela. Just to catch you up, Trump sent warships and U.S. Marines to wait in the ocean outside of Venezuela just a couple months ago in August. Possible preparations for war and invasion. Trump is mad at Venezuela because the current dictator of Venezuela won't give up power. Trump also said he's mad because the government of Venezuela supposedly has involvement in drug trafficking. But so far, we've seen no evidence of that, and the Venezuelan government is saying they're not involved with the drug trafficking. It seems to be something Trump is making up. We did have someone sent by Trump leading negotiations with the dictator of Venezuela last week. Trump called the negotiator and told him that all diplomatic outreach, including his talks with the dictator, must stop.
Donald Trump blew up a boat full of civilians off the coast of Venezuela. They were not Tren de Aragua gang members. They were not smuggling drugs. It was a boat full of 11 civilians. And Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth blew them up and killed them. That is according to reporting out yesterday from The Intercept in an article written by Nick Turse, T-U-R-S-E.
See, here's the thing. They have a history. We have a history of something going on with the leader of Venezuela. There's a whole history, and I'll tell you that in a minute.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
There you go. Lucas Thomas is live to West Palm Beach, where the president is spending the weekend at his Mar-a-Lago golf estate before heading back to the White House this evening. Lucas?
Well, good afternoon, Rich. Combat operations continue in the Caribbean by the U.S. military. And just about an hour ago, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth posting the following recently declassified drone footage of a 7th strike against a suspected drug smuggling boat. Hegseth says the boat belonged to a Marxist group in Colombia and Venezuela, known by its Spanish acronym ELM. I believe we have the footage of the strike right here, Rich. The State Department has put this group, known as the National Liberation Army, on its terrorist list since 1997. The terrorist group operates in Colombia and Venezuela and has a history of drug trafficking. Colombia's president just posted that he says this was a fishing boat that got annihilated. Hegseth says the boat was on the U.S. intelligence agency's radar for the task of drug smuggling. Is also using a known drug shipping route. It had drugs on board, according to Hegseth. He also said all 3 men on board were killed. There were no survivors.
So they killed all those people, and nobody has any clue why or when. What the hell is going on with these people, and why are they breaking them off like that? There's several theories. I have 2 theories. I'll let you know in a minute what I.
This is a hot area, and the president's taking it really
Breaking news coming in within the past hour. The Caribbean is now on the edge of a military confrontation. The United States has escalated its presence in the southern Caribbean. 7 warships are now stationed off the Venezuelan coast. Among them, guided missile destroyers, a nuclear submarine, and more than 4,500 U.S. troops. That includes 2,200 Marines ready for rapid deployment. The official mission, to strike drug cartels. Groups like Tren de Aragua and Cartel de los Soles are now labeled terrorist organizations. operations. Surveillance aircraft are already flying over international waters, collecting intelligence close to Venezuelan airspace. But the rhetoric is shifting. Washington insists this is a counter-narcotics operation. Still, analysts warn it looks like a show of force with echoes of regime change. The reaction from Caracas was immediate. Officials denounced the operation as imperialist and illegal. In response, they mobilized troops to the Colombian border and reinforced air and naval defenses. Even more alarming, 4.5 million civilian militia members have been called up. The Caribbean is now militarized. Naval forces on one
side. The U.S. military destroyed another boat off the coast of Venezuela this week that the White House alleges was carrying narcotics bound for the U.S. Both in his first term and his current one, the president and his team have made clear they want Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro out of power.
You see that? They want that man out of power. They want the leader out of power. It has nothing to do with drugs. I think it has to do with the fact that they want him out of power. Let's keep going. They want to get rid of that dude. Shut up, Sharon. You don't know what you're talking about.
And now Mr. Trump has raised the prospect of striking Venezuela on land. Off the coast of Venezuela, strike after strike in the Caribbean Sea, targeting small boats allegedly carrying illegal drugs and headed to the U.S. Since early September, 5 such U.S. military strikes, 4 of them on boats from Venezuela. This week, an escalation.
We are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
With President Trump confirming yesterday that the CIA is conducting covert operations inside Venezuela.
I authorized for 2 reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. And the other.
You notice that every time he say something about prisoners and criminals getting released into public, getting released to come to the United States, getting released to do something to the United States, that's how he get the goofies to believe that stuff. He has said this against every country, even his own people. He has said they have plotted to bring criminals and murderers and drug dealers into the United States. He said that about Canada, right? He said this about Venezuela. He's saying it about regular leftists or Antifa or whoever. He's saying it about all the people he don't like. Oh, they bringing drugs into the country. They bringing drugs against United States. This is how he's getting goofies to believe the lies that he's saying. Venezuela, it has nothing to do with drugs in Venezuela. It has to do with the fact that they want that man to get out of power. They want Maduro to get out of power. The reason why you ain't seen no drugs, if here's the thing, and this is, I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, maybe I don't know. If you were blowing up ships that had drugs and stuff on it, you didn't collect no evidence after you blew the ships up. You didn't collect no evidence that proved that they had drugs on board. You didn't prove none of that. You didn't have to prove none of that because you blew the building, you blew the boats up. So that you didn't have to go and find the proof. That's all you had to do was blow them boats up. Okay. Don't make no sense why you didn't go collect no evidence and show it to the world. Look at this boat. These boats got drugs on them. They were bringing the drugs to the United States. You can't do that because that's not what they were doing. They have no evidence. They have no proof. They just shooting these people down. For a reason, though. It's for a reason.
The thing of drugs, we have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea.
It's an expansion of what the
You see how they, every time he wants to have proof, he gets the goofies to believe him when he say, oh, they bringing drugs into the United States. They bringing drugs in it. And he don't never provide no proof. He just be talking. That's why you got goofies in the chat defending this bullshit that's against the Constitution. Just killing people without due process. Okay.
The Pentagon has called a counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission.
All of this, y'all look at it. All of this firepower for a drug dealing boat, a little boat in the water. All of this firepower for this little boats in the water. Why do we need all of those troops down there why do we need all those troops down there just for little boats? Shut up, Ozzy. You sound retarded. Every time I talk to one of y'all sound even more retarded when you talk.
An armada of U.S. warships already deployed off the Venezuelan coast, and B-52 bombers to nearby international airspace.
Not war. Just peace.
A defiant President Nicolas Maduro responded to Trump's remarks yesterday.
Yeah, Franklin, we just believe everything he say. That's what I'm saying. You only got goofies in the chat believing everything he say.
No to regime change. No to CIA-orchestrated coup d'etat. Latin America does not want them, does not need them, and repudiates them.
In a statement, Venezuela's foreign minister said the escalation seeks to legitimize regime change with the ultimate aim of seizing Venezuela's oil resources.
There you go. There you go, right there. And let me say that. Check this out. Now, here's the thing. Wait a minute. Let me read it. Okay. Here's the thing. The reason why is because Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. The largest oil reserves. And they believe that the U.S. is publicly emphasizing the drugs, acquiring influence in the area over Venezuelan energy assets so they can prevent other countries from going in and getting those assets. So the United States wants to go in and get those reserves for themselves. Okay. Also, Venezuela is strategically located near South America. And it's an advantage for our naval ships to be down there, our pathways down there. We want to have the advantage down there to get that oil. If the U.S. strengthens its leverage in Venezuela, gets regime change in Venezuela, it could reduce the dependency on hostile states, suppliers that we have. And we would have global power over Latin American oil. Okay, it's enormous risk, but Venezuela don't have the resources to fight us if we decide to invade those countries. There wouldn't be no way for them to stop us. There wouldn't be no way for them to stop us. What the hell is he doing? Is he trying to provoke a fight? Is he trying to provoke a fight? That's the whole thing. Okay. Even by violating international law. This is wild. If you think about it, they got the largest oil reserves in the world. And on top of that, Trump has told old boy he needs to leave Venezuela. He long since been against Maduro. Okay. Trump has long since been against this Maduro. And they want regime change. Okay. The drug campaign is just a front. It's just a front. It's just a front to remove Maduro from power. So if they remove Maduro from power, they can get a handle over some of those reserves, those oil reserves. Then again, Donald Trump like to have revenge against people who don't never listen to him. So maybe he has revenge against this damn Venezuelan guy. We don't know. All I know is there's a reason why they down there and the drugs ain't it.
For years, Venezuela's economy has been in free fall. An estimated 80% of residents live in poverty, and nearly 8 million people have fled Maduro's regime.
Right.
He was sworn in for his third term earlier this year, despite evidence he lost re-election by a landslide.
Whoa.
Just last week, one of Maduro's fiercest foes, Maria Corina Machado, won the Nobel Peace Prize. The opposition leader, who lives in hiding, has spoken in favor of outside intervention in Venezuela. After her win, Machado dedicated the prize to President Trump for his, quote, decisive support of our cause. Late today, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced that the naval officer in charge of U.S. operations for Latin America would leave by the end of 2025. Admiral Alvin Holsey will end a 37-year career after less than a year in charge of U.S. Southern Command. No reason was given for his impending retirement. Now we get two views on the Trump administration's actions against Venezuela. John Feely had a 28-year career in the Foreign Service where he focused on Latin America and served as ambassador to Panama.
That's the whole thing. See, back in 2017, during Trump's first term, right? Yeah, they trying to get rid of all of them. The U.S. and Venezuela relationship, it began to collapse. The relationship began to collapse between them. They had huge economic problems, food shortages, political protests against Maduro. He just won another election. Even though it was very obvious that he lost, he still kept himself in power. Let's make sure we keep that on our mind for this idiot president who might try to stay in power if he loses the next election. Okay, so Trump saw Maduro as a dictator who rigged the elections and abused his people. So in response, Trump put economic sanctions on Venezuela's oil industry. Okay, and backed up his rival, that somebody, Juan Guaido, not the girl, not the chick who won the Nobel Peace Prize. He backed him up as the real president. Maduro fought back and accused Trump of trying to take Venezuela's oil and overthrow him, which I believe is what Trump is trying to do right now. Because why would you risk a fight over some goddamn drug boats? Why would you risk a fight, an international crisis, an international constitutional crisis? Why would you risk that over just some drug dealers? You wouldn't risk that over just some drug dealers. You'd risk that if I was going to take a risk, I'd be risking me getting the oil reserves, the biggest oil reserves in the world almost. I'd risk getting the oil reserves, and I would risk overthrowing the government and put somebody in there that I want. Okay? This is why Trump is doing it. He's not doing it because there's some drug dealers in there, but still, he's doing it illegally, the illegal way. But if he gets a hold of those, reserves and he gets a regime change, he wanted that lady, but the lady is in hiding because, you know, they like to break their political opponents off. They like to do some wild shit to their political opponents. So we never know. Okay. So he's been fought, and so old boy the Maduro's been fighting back. Okay. From that point on, Trump and Maduro have been at each other, calling each other villains and thieves and criminals and whatnot, calling them social thug. And Maduro been calling Trump a Yankee imperialist. So this personal, but Trump is a petty motherfucker. So he could be just going after the old boy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I believe it ain't about no drug dealing. It's about the oil and Maduro. Yes, Maduro is a communist puppet. And I believe Trump is trying to take him out, get control. But see, here's my thing. Why wouldn't you just invade the country and take the country over and make it I ain't finna say that. Take the country over and make it a part of the United States. I don't know. What is he trying to do? Trying to just get the oil and then put somebody in charge so they be favorable to us? That's wild. I mean, the fight between these two is personal. Okay. And they was trying to get him out of power, even trying to consider, central bank, they can do that too. They can consider military action against CIA with the CIA involvement. They can do that to weaken his rule. They can do that. Okay. Maduro has been telling Trump, mind your fucking business. All of those things. Okay. So, and Trump has been saying this is failed socialism over there. You really need it. He's been appealing to the Cuban Americans, but you can't appeal to the Cuban Americans. You can't appeal to the Venezuelans. Them the motherfuckers that you kicked out of the country, right? You kicked them out, even though the Venezuelan people are against Maduro. You still fucked them over too, right? So it's not just about foreign policy. It's also about Trump's image here, because you can't expect support from Venezuelans here because you kicked their ass the fuck out of the country. Okay? So fast forward to today. I believe it's all about the oil. I believe it's all about the oil that they have and what they want. They just want to take over the oil. They just want to do what they got to do. And Trump is just hiding it. He's just going to hide it. So as long as that's what's going to happen, hold on. Let me play the rest of this clip. Okay.
In the Caribbean. Hello and welcome to a second hour of Fox News Live. I'm Rich Edson. This is the 7th and latest in a series of drone strikes aimed at boats carrying suspected drugs headed for the United States mainland. Democrats and Republicans have voiced concerns about the administration's aggressive tactics in international waters. Friday, President Trump was asked if Maduro was ready to talk.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
He don't want to fuck around with the United States. So we fast forward to today. Trump is president again. They want them reserve oils. They want them reserve oils before China or Russia get to them. They want to get them. Hold on, let me show a map. Okay, this is a map of, what is it? Venezuela and Colombia. Okay, so they trying to make sure that they get these reserve oils before anybody else get these reserve oils. They trying to make sure don't nobody else get them. And you know, Russia and whatnot are coming for those reserves. Russia and China, because China ain't we leaving them under the radar. We letting these people stay under the radar. Let me show you. Shit. Oh no. No, I wish I had a bigger picture. I wish I had a big women. I did have a big. Didn't I have a bigger picture? Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to give you a bigger picture. Oh, okay. Here we go. Hold on. This is the bigger picture. Let me show you a bigger picture of what we talking about. Because a lot of people don't know where this is at, right? But there you go. Venezuela and Colombia. So off of this, so right above here, okay, right above here is the Caribbean Sea. So this is where they've been doing all the they're carrying out all these little whatever they doing, the bogus shit. They carrying out, you know, shooting down the boats and shit like that. Okay. So this is what they trying to, and there's oil reserves in Venezuela. We don't know whether there's oil reserves anywhere else, but right here. Okay. So if we let China get over here or we let Russia get over here, we're gonna lose the advantage. And on top of the fact that Trump can't stand Maduro, who's in charge. Okay. And even though he keeps saying his war on drugs, this is part of his war on drugs, he lying. They lying. They sent a bunch of reserve. How many troops? How many troops did they send? Did Trump send to Venezuela? How many? The whole point is, how many did he send? Okay. He sent August 2025, the president sent 4,000 soldiers just to fight drug wars. They sent 4,000 soldiers just to fight drug wars. Along with warships, along with several warships to the Caribbean near Venezuela, they sent that many soldiers. And then by October, they sent 10,000 personnel as the military built up for drug dealing. Wait a minute. I want to stop drug dealing, but you don't need to send no 15,000 damn troops. 15,000 damn troops. Okay? You sent those troops so you can go get that oil. Fake ass Whoopi. You a dumb motherfucker, oil. Ow, you dumb. Okay? I'm going to keep calling y'all dumb. Because, see, I got a filthy mouth and I really would say something really bad. So I'm trying not to say something really bad. Throw yourself down some fucking steps. Okay? Then break yourself off. Break yourself off, owl. So, this is what I believe. They sent 4,000 troops. Then they sent 10,000 regular personnel. They're trying to get the oil. They're trying to get the oil, and they're trying to make sure that China and Russia don't get the oil first. Okay? We don't know exactly where are they? Where are they? They exactly. Okay. So, where are they exactly? Okay. They're off the southern Caribbean Sea, off the coast of Venezuela. Y'all see Venezuela is green. U.S. naval forces have been deployed in the southern Caribbean Sea, off the coast of Venezuela, in international waters, near the territorial sea. 13 miles off your landmass is past your territorial sea. It's past your territorial sea. So it's 13 miles past your territory, the edge of your land. So they have stationed them right outside that 13 mile. Okay. I don't know how to show you English. Fine. Sure. So it's 3 destroyers deployed in the region. 3 destroy. Why do you need to have 3 destroyers off the coast of a country that just has drug dealers? You just have drug dealers. There's no reason for all of that military. There's no reason for all of this fuss. There's no reason for all of this if it's just drug dealers. Okay. In addition to those naval, in addition to Navy, there's sailors, Marines, Air Forces. Okay. I think it's like, what is it? 4,000 servicemen, 4,500 servicemen, or 2,200 Marines aboard ships. Okay. International waters. Okay. Positioning the Southern Caribbean, positioning in the Southern Caribbean forces maritime and air access vantage. They can monitor the sea, the vessels, intervention, strike vessels off the coast. Okay. They're offshore. Y'all hit the like button, share button, hit the like button and share button, please and thank you. We do this content every night at 10 o'clock. We, go over issues that are in the news. Bring content from issues in the news. Please and thank you. Please hit the share, the like button. This is not political. This is world news. Sometimes it's political, sometimes it's not. But tonight, this is just political. I'd appreciate a sub. I'd appreciate a like, a share. We do this every night content just to get a feel. Okay, now here's my thing. I'm gonna open up the phone lines and I'm gonna ask, see if anybody wanna have anything to say, or maybe they know something that I don't know. Maybe I haven't said the right thing. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. The number's on the screen if you want to call in. Please and thank you. Hold on. Because I always forget. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so we have it open. So you guys see what Venezuela is? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see let me see the map. Do you think that drug dealers are dangerous? Do I think drug dealers are dangerous? Yeah, depending on what you do to the drug dealers. Okay. A map with Venezuela, and United States distance. Okay. So this is what I wanted to show. Okay. I wanted to show. Okay. Hold on. I wanted to be able to show. Here's a map. Here's a different map. Stop the screen. I had to get the map. Wait a minute. Is this an image file? Nope. Hold on. I just wanted to show where we are. Okay. So we got Venezuela right here in the blue. Venezuela right here in the blue, right? How do I make this bigger? Oh. Here we go. Here we go, right here. Perfecto. We got Venezuela in the blue. So we've been killing folks up in here. We've been killing folks up in here. Right? So this is us. This is Venezuela. This is Colombia. So we've been killing folks right up in here. Okay. So they breaking folks off. No, they do. There's a prison in Venezuela. I get all that. Instead of them trying these people, giving them due process, they're not giving them due process because it's not about the drugs. It's not about the drugs. It's about the oil that they got over there. It's about the oil and the reserves that they got over there and the fact that they want to get rid of Maduro. Okay. Hold on, yo. Okay. Black. Fine, thank you. How you doing? I didn't say that. When did I say that? Hold on. Wait. I don't have you on the screen. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay. Now, when did I say that? I didn't say nothing about people in the chat. They can take the information however they want to take the information. This is what it's about. What?
HQ. So what I want to tell you,
what?
And for people, and this is gonna sound bad because I'm
shit, Black America. What the hell you mean? It's gonna sound bad?
It's gonna sound bad because you're not gonna understand. I know you travel overseas, right? And you travel to good places, places where people are eating crumpets and drinking tea.
Right.
I have been on plantations where the military have came in and the Mexicans were fighting against the military. Okay? I'm talking about like actual shootouts.
Right.
I was in Colombia, what was it? About 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The name like Pablo Escobar, El Chapo Guzman, these people fight against their military. HQ, there is no fighting against the American military.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you don't understand that, right? But in Mexico, when I used to go to Mexico to do what I was doing long time ago.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Back up. What do you mean going to Mexico to do what you was doing?
To do bad stuff in Mexico.
Okay.
They would when the Mexican military would come and try and do a siege of their property, these people would fight against the Mexican military. And they had better weapons, they had more artillery, they had helicopters. The fucking Mexicans had submarines, HQ. Like, so they build tunnels, all type of shit. There is no way to 100% stop the drugs that are coming in.
Yeah, but you don't understand. You don't understand. They don't care. United States don't care about them drugs. They don't care about them drugs, Black America. That's not why they're
Okay.
doing it.
I want to ask. So now I'm gonna ask you a question, and if it's too tight for you to say something, just say pineapple. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have anybody in your family, like when we were young, that was hooked on drugs, like crackheads and stuff like that in your family?
No.
So you are blessed because most of us did have crackheads in our family. And you know who's on crystal meth and fentanyl and all of that stuff? You want it? Black people are on it now, but crystal meth and things like that, that was a white people's drug. And I know you, and like I said, I know you don't understand this part of life, but it is a serious part of life when you see all of these white people without no teeth in the front. That is because they're smoking crack. When they have acne, you think it's acne, but they pick the skin off of their face. That is because they're on drugs. Once again, I know you don't understand this part of like life and dope things and alcohol. You from an upper middle class parent, you know your dad had a good job, your mom had a good job, but regular people, HQ, they meth and all of these things, they are killing people by the thousands daily. You gotta stop the shit. It's like crack was in the early '80s all the way to the mid 2000s. You know,
yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's not really about the drugs. This is not about.
You don't think it's about the drugs. So when they did the '94 crime bill, was that about the drugs or was that about locking niggas up?
That was about locking people up.
So it didn't have anything to do with in the 80s. I mean, in the 80s and 90s about all of us, gang banging, drug dealing black men killing each other like every 10 minutes. You don't think it had anything to do with that?
No, I think they started the war on drugs. I believe they brought the drugs into the country to give people drugs. I think it was a way of putting people in prison. That's what I think. But that's not what I'm saying. But that's not what I'm saying right now. What I'm saying right now is that Donald Trump is saying that this is a war on drugs, but it's not a war on drugs. It's about getting the oil reserves from over there in Venezuela. It's about getting rid of the president of Venezuela. It's not about drugs over there. He's just pretending that it's about drugs, but it's never about drugs. That's what I'm saying.
HQ, I'm telling you. So the best way for him to circumvent and get that man out of power is to cut his money off. And to cut his money off, you know what he has to do? He has to cut the money off from drugs, HQ.
Yeah, but the drugs, I think the oil reserves.
HQ, you don't know nothing about dope, HQ. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, but I don't think it's about the drugs though. Yes, true enough, you may be able to cut the drugs off. That's fine. But it's bigger fish to fry. The drugs is just you cutting the drugs off is a byproduct of him going over there to get the oil. The oil, we gotta agree that the oil is more important than the drugs, right?
No. The drugs are much more important than the oil. America is full of dope thieves. That's why they bring all the drugs here, because our American money, if you go over, you can type it up on your computer right now and look up Mexican drug bust cash out. You see money stacked from the floor to the ceiling. American money stacked from the floor to the ceiling. Millions and billions of dollars.
Are you trying to say that there's no reason for him to go over there except to stop the drug dealing?
No, that's not what I said. What I said was the drugs are more important than the oil. That's what I said.
Why are the drugs more important? Why?
Because
America's not gonna be in the drug business like that. I refuse to believe that we would allow our president to be in the middle of selling drugs. So the drugs can't be the end product. They can't be it.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. The drugs are more important because that money is unlimited, it is untaxable, it is untraceable. The drugs are much more important because that money comes in by the second, and it comes in by the millions and the billions. That drug money is very, very, very important. It is.
Yeah, but I'm talking about no, what you're saying is the president wants to continue the drug trafficking into the United States. It's just a cover.
No,
this is what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. No, he wants to stop. If he wants to hurt that president, he wants to stop the drug trade coming into. So Pablo Escobar, you heard that name before?
Yes, I get that I get that he wants to stop. I get that he wants to stop the drug, but I get that. I get that he wants to stop that. But his bigger plan is the oil. It ain't the drugs. You can stop drugs. I stop the drug tomorrow. Okay, fine, we're gonna stop the drug. But you don't have that military presence that he just put down there just for drugs.
You said yourself he doesn't like Maduro, right? He wants Maduro out of power, right?
So that he can control the oil that's underneath that land.
No. You think that there's more money coming from the oil, or is more money coming from drugs?
Only if you were in the business of keeping drugs flowing on the earth would the drugs maybe give you more of something. But the oil is more. But wait a minute. Are you saying? I asked you this before. I asked you this question. Are you saying to me that Trump wants to own the drug business so he can continue drugs coming in? Then it would be worth it. No, hold on. Then it would be worth it for him to go over there and get the drugs, and that's what he would only be going over there for. But he's not going over there for the drugs. The drugs is just the excuse. He wants to get the oil.
All right, can I talk now? I'm gonna explain it to you again.
Go ahead.
You said he wants to hurt
what you're saying. You're saying you don't understand what you're saying. You're saying
I understand what I'm saying. The drugs are more important, not to us as a country, to us as a country to hurt Maduro. To hurt Venezuela, stopping the drugs is more important. Because if they want to sell the oil to China or Russia, they absolutely can. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. But having U.S. American dollars to trade for things around the world is much more important.
Trade what American dollar? Wait a minute. You wait a minute. I'm confused. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Have you ever been to Colombia?
No. Hold on. You're saying to me that that Trump went over there just to stop his drug trade?
Stop the drug trade, correct.
No, he didn't go over there to stop no drug trade. That's just the excuse. The excuse to get the oil. Didn't I just tell you that they got the biggest oil reserves in the world?
Yeah.
Didn't I just tell you that? But Maduro has the biggest oil reserves in the world?
Yeah.
So why would I be going over there?
Understand.
So if I get control of Venezuela, you think I went over there just to get to stop some drug? I didn't go over there for the oil. I just went over there for the drugs. That's what you saying?
HQ, can Venezuela sell their oil?
Yeah, they can. What? Why wouldn't they be able to sell their oil?
Oh, okay, so they can sell their oil, right? So they can sell their oil to China. They can sell their oil to Russia. They can sell their oil to everybody in the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going along with that.
So, right. So now, does President Trump like Maduro? Does he want to hurt Maduro?
Yes.
So, what is the most effective way to hurt a country?
I think you want me to say their money flow. I get that. Okay.
There we go. All right. So now,
yes,
the oil. Now they can sell the oil to everybody all over the world, right? They can sell oil to everybody all over the world. That's not going to stop their cash flow for money.
Black America. If I own you, you're selling the oil for me. If I own you, you're selling the oil for me. Fuck the drugs. The oil is got the biggest reserve almost in the world. It has the biggest reserve.
I don't think you realize. I don't think you realize
you're talking
how much money.
You're talking about drugs. Ain't nobody gonna go over there and start selling.
Love it, HQ.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you. We are not going to get Maduro's drugs. I'm not saying the drugs are not important. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Trump is going to get the drugs. Trump is going to get the oil and to get the Maduro out of power so he can put his person in charge. So the person who's in charge does what Trump wants them to do. That's why Trump is going over there. It has nothing to do. The drugs is just a byproduct.
Okay, so HQ, this is what I'm saying. Try and follow me again. So the best way to hurt Maduro is to stop his cash flow into his country, which is drugs, HQ.
I get that. I get that.
The money and the power comes from drugs.
Yes, so
you have to stop the flow of drugs into the U.S.
Okay,
because the U.S. is the biggest. The U.S. is the biggest consumer of drugs on the planet. HQ.
So what?
The U.S.
So
okay.
What?
I can't fight with you about it because you don't understand.
Yes, I do understand. You making it seem like Donald Trump is another drug dealer and he wants to take over the business of drugs with Maduro. He don't give a fuck about them drugs.
That's not what,
he gives a fuck about the oil.
But
I didn't say the drugs wasn't important. That's what you don't get. I don't get the drugs. I didn't say the drugs wasn't important. What I said was the goal is to get the oil, the biggest reserve of oil underneath that country. That is the biggest. That is the goal. The drugs just happen to be something that he is trying to
okay.
convince
All right.
us,
So you said
convince us that that's
so you said
over there.
So you said that's the goal, right? That is the goal, is to get the oil, right?
Yes.
I'll agree with you. I agree with you on that, right? That's the goal. How do you get Maduro out of power?
You have somebody overthrow him. You support the opposition. You have him overthrown.
But if everything is good in the country and everybody loves him, how would you get him out of power?
It doesn't matter how you get him out of power. I understand that he has to go. I understand that. You act like I don't understand that. I'm saying nobody we're talking about the end goal. The bigger picture is the oil, Black America. The drugs are just something that he got to get rid of.
You have to start with, there has to be a catalyst. You have to start somewhere. And the best thing is you start by collapsing the economy over there, the money that comes in from the drugs, HQ.
I get that. You act like I don't get that. That is not the goal. The goal is to get the oil. Drugs is just something he got to deal with. What the part of that you don't understand? The drugs are just an excuse.
I said I agreed with you. I agreed with you. But in order to even get that far, you have to start at the beginning. You don't start in the middle of a puzzle putting it together. You start at the edges. You start with a corner piece, and the drugs are the corner piece, HQ.
Nobody said any of that was not true. Nobody said. Wait a minute. Do I stop in the middle of flying a plane and say, okay, the goal is for me to check all the dials? No, I know I gotta check all the dials. I know I gotta kill the drug. I know I gotta kill the drug trade. I know that. That's not important. What's important is getting to the reserves of the oil.
Why would you say that's not important?
It's not important. It's not as important as the oil. I didn't say it wasn't important. I said it's not as important as the oil. That's all.
The drugs are very important. That's how that country makes its money. That's how them countries been making their money for years.
Wait a minute, hold on. So the reserves ain't got nothing to do with their money.
No, yes, no. The reserves don't have anything to do with their money. It's the drugs.
I don't get it. Wait a minute.
I 100% guarantee that they make a whole lot more money off of selling drugs than they do the oil. I guarantee.
Then their oil reserve. I had to see. Oh, okay. Sure. Okay. I don't know. It's complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, I'm pretty
So
sure.
Venezuela earned almost $18 billion in oil exports.
Is that a year?
So a recent estimate put drug trafficking at around $8 billion. So
and that
make
and
more
that
money.
$8 billion and that $8 billion is probably a month, HQ.
Another estimate.
It's a lot.
No, that's the year 2024. Year 2024. Year 2024.
They said $8 billion.
$8 billion. And their oil reserves, their oil brings in it's almost 17.6 billion. So almost 18 billion. They bring more money in from the oil than they do from the drugs.
So, and what I'm telling you is that money that they bring in from the oil is tracked, is accounted for by OPEC and all of that stuff. That $8 billion, HQ, that $8 billion goes right into the people's pocket.
Oil, no. Yeah. Oil revenue. It's more money. It's more money from the oil reserves. It's more money from the oil. All by far. It's almost double. It's almost double.
Yes, but
I'm not saying the drugs are not important. I'm just saying the oil is more important. That's all I'm saying. That is the goal. The goal is to get that oil. The goal is to get control of the oil. That's what the goal is. The drugs is just a byproduct. We're not going to be in the business of selling drugs. United States is not going to be in the business of selling drugs. They're going to wipe all them drugs. They're going to wipe all that away.
I'm not going that route. I'm not going that route, HQ. But what I'm saying is that drug money is not. It's no taxes on. Nobody can actually physically look at that money, and then they can do whatever they want to with that money. You understand? $8 billion cash and tax-free goes a long way in American dollars, goes a long way all around the world. Only other country whose money is comparable to ours is, I want to say, Europe, like England and all of that stuff. Everywhere else you go, Mexico, Philippines, like you can live for $1,000 a month like a king. Brazil, all of these places.
No, Black America, you're giving me what it is to. You're giving me information about drug dealing. I'm not talking about drug dealing. I'm talking about why this president went over there. He did not go over there for drugs. He went over there to get the oil, and the drugs is just a byproduct. That's it. That's it. That's it.
I mean, if you think so, okay. I just think
we're not in the business. We're not in the business of doing drugs. We're not in the business of selling drugs.
Stop going down that road. Stop going down that road. You're going down. You're barking up the wrong tree. You're going down the wrong road. Because I never said we wanted to sell drugs as a country.
The drugs don't mean anything when I stop him from selling drugs. I stopped him from selling drugs. I crippled their economy.
There you go. And so then what happens when you cripple somebody's economy?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Do you admit that what are you over there for is to get Maduro out of power and to seize the oil? Is that what we're doing? What?
If President Trump doesn't like Maduro,
don't talk to me about drugs. What is the end goal?
I didn't say anything about drugs.
What is the end goal?
I didn't say anything. To get Maduro out of power.
Yes, and to get control of the reserves of oil.
Okay, fine. But what I'm saying is,
what I've been telling you from the beginning. The drugs is just a byproduct.
And I've never disagreed with you, HQ. I didn't disagree with you. What I'm saying is, in order, you said it yourself, you have to cripple the economy. The drugs is what's going to cripple the economy, stopping the flow of drugs. That's what's going to cripple the economy.
Right.
It's the first task that you have to do. If you don't do that, if you don't stop the drugs, none of those other things are going to fall into place. You won't be able to get Maduro out of power. The people won't be mad or upset.
Okay.
So
I get that. Okay.
So you understand what I'm saying right now?
Yeah. We've been saying the same thing. You just haven't admitted that I said what you said. I just said your vision. You were stuck on the drugs. I'm not stuck on the drugs.
No,
I'm past the drugs. I'm already where he's sitting on the throne.
Well, you think because you think it's the oil. I dig it. You think it's the oil. I think it's Maduro.
You think it's Maduro. Why would I need to take Maduro out? Why would I need to have a puppet over there? Why would I need to have a puppet? Why would I get rid of Maduro?
Okay, so let me tell you, and don't jump in. America did that to Saddam Hussein. He did that to Gaddafi. America has been going around Osama bin Laden. Us as Americans, we have been doing this to countries for hundreds of decades.
Okay, so why?
We have been doing this. What did you say?
Why?
Because America is assholes. We're bullies.
No.
And
why have we went up? Why did we go over there to get? Why did we go over there to Osama bin? Why did we go over there to get knock over Saddam Hussein or knock over where? Why did we go over there? We just went over there for fun.
I don't know.
Wait a minute, hold on. We just went over there for fun, or did we go over there for a specific reason? We went over there to get oil, right?
No, well, we're not getting any oil. We're not in control of the oil from Iraq, HQ.
Of course, but that's why we
look it up.
That's why we initially went over there, though.
No, that's not why we initially went over there.
Why did we go over there?
For Saddam Hussein.
Why did we go? Why did we invade Iraq?
Because they lied and said that people that had to do with 9/11 came from Iraq, which everybody knows is not true.
No, that was the excuse that we went over there for. We went over there.
Okay.
Oil
So excuse, lie, it's the same word. It's synonymous. Like you say an excuse. But go ahead. Say what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I am saying that he is going to get Maduro. They have the largest oil reserve in the world. He is going to get the oil. That is it. The drugs just happen to be his excuse. Okay? That's it. They are going to get the oil. That's an excuse. And like you said, they gotta get rid of the oil. I get all that. I do. But the bigger picture is the oil. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I just don't agree with that the bigger picture being the oil. I don't agree with that. But I mean, if that's what you think, because I mean that's what you think. And I thought that the Middle East actually had the largest reserves of oil in the world. I didn't think it was them, but
no, it's Venezuela has one of the largest. They have one of the largest. So I'm assuming. I'm assuming they're in the top three.
One of the largest.
I think they're in the top three. Yes.
Well,
why wouldn't I want to have control of that? Why wouldn't I have a dictator that has control of that? Why wouldn't I want to impose my guy on top of that? Why wouldn't I want to impose my guy over there? Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. Why wouldn't I want to install my guy?
And once again, words matter. So you can't say it has the biggest and then turn around and say it has one of the
largest. So
right.
So if he had wait a minute. If I know you got one of the top 4 or 5 oil reserves and you right in my backyard, I'm coming to get that oil. And
so then why not just take the country over then, HQ? Like when Russia
we don't know what the end result is. We don't know what the end goal is for this president. Now do we?
Well, you just said that the end result was to get all of the oil. Now you can't flip-flop now.
No. Our goal is to install someone who is our puppet, who we do business with, or we exchange goods for services, however they need to do it. That means we're in control of the oil.
Okay. And where in the world? Okay, so tell me this.
What?
Where, and then I'm going to jump off because we done been on this subject.
Okay.
Where in the world has America bent anybody's wrist and made them give us some oil right now?
Wait a minute.
Where?
You forgot who we dealing with. We dealing with Trump. We dealing with Trump, who think he the biggest and baddest motherfucker on the block. If he decide that he gonna invade Greenland or he gonna invade South America or whatever, he may do that. We don't know.
Okay, so then why not just? That's my question. If he's a Billy Badass, why not just do that instead of blowing up ships with dope on them in the middle of the ocean? Why don't he just go in and take over the country?
Black America, have you been listening to this president? Every time he wants to make a strategic move, he says they're doing X, Y, and Z against America. They're doing this against America. They're doing X, Y, and Z against America. And then he acts on it and then turns around and looks at us and says, I did it because they were bringing drugs into the United States. I did it because those are a bunch of terrorists. I did it because of X, Y, and Z. Black America, do you think that they sent 15,000 damn troops to the outskirts of Venezuela just for some goddamn drug boats?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do once again, HQ, Do you know that when Pablo Escobar, one of the biggest drug dealers over in that region, when they put him in jail, do you know they just let him go home and he built a castle over there? And he stayed in his castle as it were prison because the drug dealers run those countries, HQ. And like I said, I know you don't know about that life.
But I can surmise. They want to get rid of this guy. There's no reason to get. Why would you need to overthrow? Venezuela is not going to come over here and do anything to us. Why would we need to go over there just to stop some drugs going in and out of the country? Why would we need to go?
All right, great question. Great question. Are drug dealers in America, are they poisoning the country and the community? HQ?
I don't know anything like that. All I know is drugs.
Well, hold on. Because I can't see the chat. So I'm going to ask a question to the chat.
Okay.
Chat.
Yeah, chat.
1 for yes, 2 for no. Are drug dealers ruining and poisoning the community?
No.
Yes,
Don't ask him that. Don't ask him that. Ask him this.
Why not?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Ask him that.
I can't ask my question. Why can't I ask him my question?
Because that question is immaterial. We understand that it's destroying the community. Because we understand that it's destroying the community. We get that.
Okay,
we understand that.
You just said that you didn't know. You just said that you didn't know if drug dealers were ruining the community. That's what you just said.
Everybody knows that in the chat.
Well, then how do you stop the drug dealers from getting the drugs?
But who can? We don't. It's not about the drugs, Black America. It's not about the drugs. The bigger question is, why do you think President Trump went over there and put up a whole military stance for the drugs or for one of the biggest oil reserves in the country? Which one do you think he went over there to get? The oil, control of the oil, not just invade the country, but replace Maduro so he can have a stooge? Or did he go over there just to kill drug dealers? What y'all think? He just went over there to kill drug dealers, right? We understand he's going to kill drug dealers because he's got to get in there. But is that the main focus? Is that the end goal? Because we're not going to get in the business. We're not getting in the business of drug dealing, so it can't be.
No, HQ. Like I said, I understand it because you just told me you didn't.
Side thing. Stop talking about the drug. It's the side thing.
Listen.
He's going to cut all of those drug dealing things off. The real focus. What's the focus?
I understand. But like I said,
what's the focus of Black America? What's his focus?
His focus is to stop the drugs.
No. What is the end goal for him? What is the end goal? Not the second goal. The end goal.
To get Maduro out of power.
And to get control of those oil reserves.
So that's what you think. I'm glad you think that.
The drugs have nothing to do with it. The drugs is just a stopgap along the way. The oil is why he's going.
Well, maybe somebody else can explain it to you.
You don't need to explain it to me. I get it.
Crazy.
You can't.
No.
You're not going past the drug. You're making it seem as though Trump is going over there to stop the drug. He's gonna stop the drug. The drugs mean nothing. Pour him into the water.
The drugs
so he can get out of power.
The drugs are killing Americans.
Don't nobody give a fuck about that. You know they don't.
Once again,
you know they don't give a fuck about that.
Once again, you don't have any family members that's on meth, that's on crack, that's on fentanyl, that's on pills. You are blessed because you don't. I have 13 aunts and uncles on both sides.
I didn't say,
and they were dope fiends.
Black America. I
didn't say you didn't care
about drugs. I said the powers that be don't give a damn about drugs. The powers that be don't give a damn about those drugs.
So you don't think that Trump cares that Americans are dying in the streets for drugs?
Hell no, he don't give a damn about that.
Oh, okay. All right.
He don't give a damn about that. He give a damn more about that damn oil and getting that damn dude out of power.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, hey, if that's the way you feel, I understand.
He don't give a damn about no drugs.
Yeah. I mean, well, other Americans, and this is a thing. Other Americans care about stopping the flow of drugs into the country.
Don't know.
That's just you.
You don't get what I'm saying to you. Don't nobody.
I do.
He cares more about the oil than he does the drug. They don't give a fuck about the drugs, Black America. They don't give a fuck about the drug. They care about the oil.
And I'm glad you believe that. Like I said, I don't have a problem with you believing that.
Y'all think he care more about them drugs than he do the oil? Do y'all believe he cares?
Killing Americans? Yes. Oh, you're not talking to me.
What?
Okay.
You said what? You think he care more about the drugs than he do the oil? No, it has nothing to do with us having oil. It has nothing to do with us having oil.
That's somebody else. Okay. Yeah, HQ, that's what I'm telling you. We don't see it like you.
Stopping the drugs does nothing to put money in the pocket of the U.S. or make Trump solidify his legacy. He don't give a shit about stopping the drugs. It's just a way to go get the damn oil. That's it.
I understand you don't. I understand you don't see it that way, HQ.
And he don't give a damn about no drugs.
But I'm telling you, us as Americans,
I didn't say us as Americans. We are not Donald Trump. We are not the powers that be. We do not make decisions in this country. We do not do it.
But he has people. He has people that are advising him, and they're telling him
they don't give a damn about them damn drugs. They give a damn about the oil.
All right. Okay. I'm just saying, if they're blowing up little boats carrying dope right now, it seems like they care about the drugs. So, but I understand you don't think so.
We're not in the business of drugs, Black America. So
that's why he's
gonna do. So this is what you're saying. What you're saying is, we went over there. Donald Trump put people over there to take the drugs and throw the drugs into the sea, destroy the drugs, and that's all we're going to do is take the drugs and destroy the drugs. That's all he care about. That's all he care about. That's what you saying to me. Is that he
I didn't say that
all the drugs because he cares.
I didn't say that was all.
He cares so
I didn't say that
much.
was all.
But wait a minute, hold on. He cares so goddamn much about the drugs that he gonna take all the drugs out of Colombia. He gonna toss them in the sea, toss them in the water, and then that's gonna be the end. Is that what you telling me?
I'm saying, in order to make America better and safer, yes, he is going to kill the drug trade.
I forgot.
Hold on a second. In order to hurt Maduro, and get him out of power, he is going to stop the drugs. Yes, HQ. Once again, you don't understand it and you don't see it, and I dig it. You don't see it like that because you think that the oil is bigger.
You one of those people that think Trump puts America first. I get it.
I don't think Trump cares about America.
Because you can what you try to do.
I don't think Trump cares about America.
You try to make it seem as though you could appeal to my higher angel. You making it sound like getting rid of drugs is appealing to Trump's higher nature. Oh, he cares so much about America, he got to get rid of drugs.
I never said that.
That man don't
I told you I think that man is about as close to the devil as Hitler.
So
that's
why
what I think about Trump.
That he gives a damn about the drugs more than he do the money, the damn oil?
Because he wants to get Maduro out of power. And that's all I've been saying.
No, he cares about the oil. The drugs is just something he got to go through. That's it. That's just something he got to throw in the water and get rid of. He don't care about them drugs.
Okay.
He cares about the oil.
All right.
He gonna throw them drugs in the garbage. We ain't in the business of drugs.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so the drugs ain't the bottom line. The drugs ain't the bottom line. It's the oil that's the bottom line. The drugs are just something I got to throw away in the garbage. What are you talking about?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he has to get
So he
rid
don't
of
give
the
a damn
drugs.
about them drugs.
Yes, you have to get rid of the drugs, HQ.
He don't give a damn
You're
about
right.
the drugs.
He does. Right. Exactly. He don't give a damn about the drugs.
And he don't
He's
care
not
where they
going to
go.
use it.
As long as he stopped Maduro from selling them, he don't give a damn about them drugs.
Thank you, HQ.
So stop
Right.
talking about the
He
drugs.
doesn't.
Because he don't give a
He
damn
doesn't
about
want
them.
Maduro to sell them. He doesn't want Maduro to sell them.
He don't give a damn about the drugs.
Okay. Well, like I said, you know what? This is so funny because it when you were speaking, it was sounding like other people in the chat was agreeing with me, and you was disagreeing about it. I'm just telling you that us as Americans, we see we're not in a bubble like you. You are in your glass palace up on the hill. Us regular Americans who are affected by dope fiends, drug addicts, and stuff like that.
Nobody care about those drugs.
Everybody
care about the drugs.
I promise.
It's about the rich people having access to a country that has oil reserves. That's what it's about. It's about the rich people having access to a puppet leader that they can go to and do X, Y, and Z. It's about that. I get cutting the drugs off. You keep making the drugs sound as though the drugs is the big old thing. It's not the big old thing. It's just the oil. That's the big thing. The drugs are just a part of something we got to get rid of.
HQ, do you know what Narcan is?
No, what about it?
You don't know what it is, or you say no, or just what about it?
Yeah, what about it?
So Narcan is the thing that they have to give people when they overdose, right? HQ, they are putting Narcan inside of schools and putting it on corners like defibrillators, HQ. And like I said, it may not matter to you because that's not part of your life and your family's life, but everybody in this chat, HQ, besides you, has been affected by drugs in one way or another. And I promise you that. Everybody but you. You are a special case. Everybody but you, HQ, has been affected by drugs one way.
I'm not saying people don't care about drugs. I'm saying Donald Trump don't give a fuck about the drug. I didn't say you all didn't give a fuck about the drug. I said the rich motherfuckers around this world and this planet in this country don't give a fuck about the drugs. That's
I think your hatred for Donald Trump. I think
it's my hatred
has
for rich
clouded.
people. I just understand rich people.
Okay.
They don't care about the bottom line.
So your hatred for rich people, I think your hatred for rich people has clouded your judgment. I really think so. I think your hatred for rich people are people that don't care about the
I don't
homeless.
think you can understand the big picture. I don't think you get the big picture. There's no way that president sent 15,000 troops down to Venezuela just for some drug dealers. I don't think
HQ, 15,000 people is nothing. 15,000 people, that's That's not even enough to fill a fucking basketball arena.
And he's lying about why he's doing what he's doing. We already know he has history with Maduro. We already understand he has a history with this man. We get all of that.
I'm right there with you.
Okay,
I'm right there with you.
Why would you think that the drugs is the issue when he's trying to get somebody out of office? He don't care about them drugs. He gonna throw them drugs in the water. Them drugs don't mean nothing.
You know what? I want you.
They want the oil and they want the man out of power. The rich people want the oil and the man out of power.
I want you to relook at this tomorrow or tonight or whenever, and you will hear what I said. I agree with you, but in order to hurt Maduro,
we understand that. That is the first step, Black America. It's not the last step. It is the wait a minute, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying to you, because you keep going around the same circle. You keep making it sound like the goal is the drug. The goal is not the drugs. That is the first step in a 10-point plan. That is it. That is the first step in the 10-point plan. Stop making it sound like it's the 10th step. Getting the drugs out of the way is the first step.
And you feel like getting the oil is the main goal. Yeah. I dig it. That is the way.
We're not in the business of selling drugs, so drugs is not our main goal.
Here you go with the selling drugs again. Nobody's talking about selling drugs, HQ. Nobody has mentioned America selling drugs, okay? So let's stop that, okay? And what I am saying is that is the most important thing to Americans. You don't think,
it's not. It doesn't matter what's important to us. It doesn't matter what's important to us.
And that's what I'm saying. So your hatred for rich people.
It matters.
So your hatred for rich people.
Don't care about Donald Trump. I know they don't care about drugs compared to having power. They care more about power than they do about anybody getting drugs on the street. They care more about power. You keep telling me they don't. I'm telling you they do.
Hey, I didn't say that they didn't.
So why is it that you keep thinking that saying, oh, we Americans have somebody that's drugs in our family. We have people that are drugged in our family. Do you think Donald Trump give a fuck about whether you got drugs in your family? He give a fuck about the oil. He give a fuck about his rich friends getting a foothold in another country. What? I don't understand how that's so difficult for you to understand. They don't care about them drugs.
So HQ, is it only me that's saying it, or people in the chat saying it also?
I don't see nobody in the chat agreeing with that. That it's the drug.
So nobody agrees with me. Okay, maybe it's just me, HQ. Maybe, hey, I can be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not a big deal.
All I'm saying is you're trying to attribute people caring about drugs on United States street. You're trying to say that Donald Trump and his friends care more about getting the drugs off our streets than they do about getting that oil that's over there. That it's about.
I believe so.
That it cares more. Hold on.
I believe so. HQ.
You believe you believe they care more about getting the drugs off the street than gaining control of that oil, gaining control of that country. You think it's more important to get the drugs thrown in the trash.
Yes, that's me. That's just me, though. I could be wrong, HQ. I said I could be wrong, but me personally, yes, I think they care more about Americans.
You getting the drugs out, and they're not, and getting the drugs out, maybe getting the drugs out, maybe stopping the reserves, maybe doing all that, maybe. But see, if I go over there and I get the boss, if I overthrow the government, I have control of their oil reserves, which is one of the largest ones in the world. I have control over that. And I got rid of their boss.
Right.
You think
Right.
that it's more important to get rid of the drugs than it is to get the boss to be in charge of the boss, to be in charge of the oil reserve? You think it's more important to get rid of the drugs? No, you think it's more important to get the drugs than it is to get the oil reserves.
Now you're saying get the drugs.
As much money.
Yes, HQ. I'm saying the drugs are more important. I'm sorry.
We just gonna beg to differ.
Yeah.
Because I know
right. And that's what,
Donald Trump don't give a damn about the regular, ordinary man. He gives a damn
right.
about his
and that's what I said. I think that you hate rich people so much.
I don't
that
care about the rich people. I know how
I know you don't.
They care more about their bottom line than they do about us and us getting drugs on the street. Just it is
exactly. So you don't care about them so much that you don't think that nobody could actually want to do anything good. You're tainted. There's nothing wrong with it.
You think I'm going to attribute Donald Trump having a good heart, and he's going?
No.
That's what you.
I told you. I think he's a disgusting human being.
You think that Donald Trump's heart is so big that he went over there to stop the drug trafficking?
Why would you say that? You know I don't like Trump. Why would you say that?
No, that's what you said. You said it's all about getting the drugs off the street. Everybody has a family member, and they got to get the drugs off the street. That's what you said. So you're telling me that Trump cares more about getting the drugs off the street, making sure they don't get to the United States, than he do about that big oil reserve, one of the largest ones in the world that Venezuela got. You think he ain't thought about them oil reserves? You think he don't give a damn about knocking that man off his throne? You think he care more about them drugs than he do about getting that oil reserves and getting that man off the tank? That's what you said you do. You said he care more about that. No, he don't. The drugs ain't more important because we're not in the drug dealing business. So therefore, the drugs are gonna be over, kaput, finito. Soon as he keep blowing up those boats, keep blowing up them boats. Keep blowing up.
HQ. They have boats. They have submarines. They have all type of shit. HQ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm telling you. But like I said, we don't need to talk about it anymore. I understand that you don't like rich people and or Donald Trump so much that you think that he doesn't give.
No, I just think rich people don't. I just don't think rich people make these kind of moves just for the common man.
Right.
I just don't. I just don't think they make these kind of moves for the common peon. And you think he do? You think he do? I think he don't.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. Once again, I told you I don't like Trump. I don't rock with. I haven't rocked with any. It seemed like that nigga been president for like 4 or 5 years already. It's so stressful in this country. Everybody's stressed out. So I understand where you're coming from and what you're saying, but I think that the drugs and seeing people die in the street every day, HQ, I think somebody has told him, hey, this is the most important thing in this country right now.
Okay.
I do. And like I said, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe nobody in the chat agrees with me on what I'm saying, but I actually believe that's what I believe. I didn't say I was right, though.
Mm. I just think you're naive if you think they care about having drugs on the street compared to what they could gain.
Hey, HQ, I was part of that 94 crime bill and going to prison for selling crack, HQ. My brother died 10 days after his 21st birthday, HQ, because of drugs and stuff like that.
I am not saying people don't care about drugs.
Hold on.
And
Hold on.
he
1 second.
don't care.
I am not naive to any of these things, HQ.
So why would you think this man care about getting drugs off the street for you?
Not for me, because Americans are dying in the street. Just because you don't like the way he governs, I don't like the way
it
he
has
governs.
nothing to do with the way he governs. It has to do with you care more about let him tell. Gee, you think
What'd you say?
a billionaire? You think billionaires give a damn about whether your kid, brother, or anybody else get broke off about drugs? You think a billionaire cares about that?
So, do you think Kamala Harris would care about? Let me ask you a question. Do you think Kamala Harris would care about?
Anything. We talking about this president. We ain't really talking about this president. We're talking about oligarchs. We're talking about billionaires. We're talking about people toppling governments. And you're talking about the president of a nation, the most powerful man in the world, gives a damn about drugs compared to money, compared to oil, compared to toppling a government. You think he cares about us more than he care about that?
I never said that, HQ. I told you that people in this country are dying.
Okay.
You can't have a constituent if everybody's on drugs and fucked up. You can't have families. There is no black community because all of our communities was fucked up and on drugs in the late 70s and early 80s into the 2000s. So there is no longer black communities. There is no more black families because the men and the women can no longer get along because of everything that happened from then, HQ. People know this shit. And without a family
I've already told you, we're talking about billionaires. We're not talking about regular, ordinary people. You keep trying to appeal to regular, ordinary people. I told you they don't care. The oligarchs and the rich people don't care about us ordinary individual people. They just don't. They have bigger fish to fry. You keep saying they care about us little man. No, they don't.
And once again, I think your vision is skewed. And that's just me. Like I said, maybe people are agreeing with you in the chat. Like I said, I can't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do think that somebody is in his ear telling him, hey, we got people dying in the street every day. We got people overdosing every day. We need to do something about this dope coming in.
Yes.
But I understand what you're saying. He couldn't possibly care about that. He couldn't possibly care about that.
If you can kill two birds with one stone, go ahead and kill two birds with one stone. If I can get the drugs out of the way, on my way to getting the oil, on my way to getting Maduro out of power, then so be it. It's a byproduct of what I'm really doing over here. Trump is over there to get the oil, and Trump is over there to get Maduro out of power. The drug deal is just about.
I'll point out once again, America does not own anybody else's oil reserves anywhere in the world. I don't care how many fights we have started. And
I didn't say own them.
Control them, own them, have rights to them. We don't have any.
I'm sure that we have control. We put puppets in place all across the globe. What do you mean?
Once again, I understand the way you look at it and the way you view it, but that just because you view it that way does not make it right, Miss HQ.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
I don't have no dog in the fight. We have went overseas and we have put puppets on regimes to run those regimes, just like we can put a puppet on Venezuela to have control of Venezuela.
All right.
I didn't say nothing about control.
So you said it. So name me a country. So name me a country that America has installed somebody and they bend the knee to America. Go ahead, name it.
I don't know. I don't know who they did that. I'm saying I know. I'm sure they did it. I'm sure they done it.
Can you name a U.S. territory?
I don't know any of those. Stop asking me the question when I told you I don't know.
I said, can you name a U.S. territory?
Why is that important?
Because if we can name something as simple as Puerto Rico,
yes,
or
Puerto Rico,
being a U.S. territory, Guam, Taiwan, the Philippines, if we can name places like that being a U.S. territory, I know it's a place that we can point to somewhere in this big wide world where America has took the people that were there out of power, where we seen them kill Saddam Hussein, we seen them kill Osama bin Laden, we seen them kill Ayatollah Khomeini, we seen them kill Gaddafi, we seen America kill so many people because we don't have any control over those fucking places. That's all I'm saying.
We don't have no control over these places.
Hell no. We went over there in the Middle East and we was building schools and they won't even let them little bitches go to school now. Soon as we left, we don't have any control of those places. That's all I'm saying.
Figure out how that justifies what you said. How does that justify anything that you said? You're the one who said he's trying to topple Maduro. The Maduro.
We both
So now you're going
agree on that.
Your argument?
We both agree on that. No, we both agree on that, right? We both agree that he's trying to topple Maduro.
You the one first said it. You said
right.
It. So now you're going against your argument. Your argument was Trump is going over there to topple Maduro by taking away his drugs. You said that. So now you starting to argue against your. Why are you arguing against your point?
That's not arguing against my point. I never said that we were going to put somebody in his place. Once again, I say we do kill people. We go overseas and we kill leaders all the time. But we don't install anybody else into that position where we're in control of their country.
Why would we topple a government and take the leader off the throne, a leader off the throne, for better lack of word? Why would we take the leader out of power and not install somebody that we want to do business with?
Because America...
We just let another dictator come in?
Yes, America is full of bad people. Germany, we did it with Stalin. We did it with so many times. It's so many examples of it happening, right? We have done this for decades.
Why wouldn't we just kill his why wouldn't we just kill his drug business? Why would we need to take him?
That's what we're doing right now. We're killing his drug business.
And then we don't need to take him off his we don't need to take him off his throne?
No, because he's going to lose it. So it's going to cripple. It's going to cripple the country.
So him supporting the opposition doesn't mean anything. Supporting the opposition to take over doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. Once again, no, it doesn't. We're not going to in what do they call that? South America, down there, Ecuador, Honduras, all of those places. We went down there and we did a bunch of guerrilla tactics and all of that stuff, and we left those countries devastated. We just left a gap in their leadership and left those people fucked up. That's why they're all gangbangers and selling the drugs and bringing it up here. We did that as Americans. That's what America does. You can look all through history and everything. That is what we do. We destabilize countries. After we destabilize the countries, we just leave them to rot and destroy themselves.
So
that's what America does.
What you're saying is we just gonna destabilize Venezuela and let it rot.
That is what when When we do that to countries, HQ, that is what we do. Your favorite thing that you've been talking about is the Gaza and Gaza Strip. Americans was over there helping for a while. What did we do? We gave Israel a bunch of weapons and all of that stuff, and just left them to it. And what did they do? They got fucking them, that town so bombed out and depleted, all of that stuff. We give them our old F-15s, X-16s. We give them all the bombs and all of the weapons. That's what America does, HQ.
Okay.
We've been doing it for years.
Okay, we got to have we can have another opinion about what Trump is doing there. I thank you for calling in, Black America. It's been
okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Somebody else want to call in who want to argue the point. It's not a matter of arguing the point. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong. But I think he went over there. I don't think he's deploying all of these things just for drug dealers. Black America is attributing us going over there. He's attributing Donald's good heart. Don't believe that.
From
Stephen.
To accept, press 1.
Stephen.
How are you doing today, ma'am?
Hello. What do you have on?
I'm going to be okay. I have a much differing opinion than both of you guys, actually, because I don't think it has anything to do with drugs.
Okay.
Drugs are more of a symptom of the problem itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to ask you a question real quick. Do you think it's in the interest of the national security of the country to have more trade partners in the Western Hemisphere?
Yes.
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 Okay, I agree.
Yes.
Correct. Are you aware that Venezuela was a mainstay trade partner with us before the socialist revolution of the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Monroe Doctrine?
Yeah, but I don't know the exact wording of it.
Okay. So Trump is basically following what the most popular president of all time, and it's undisputed on that matter too as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's following the Monroe Doctrine, which means that he's securing the Western Hemisphere, preparing for a world war if it were to happen, considering global politics as it is today.
Okay.
So, I want to ask you another question. Is it in the interest of national security to keep the dollar as the global reserve currency?
Is it in our best interest?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I agree with you on that as well. Check. I got these written down.
Okay.
Is the most important asset of the United States the Panama Canal? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
now, right?
Yeah. Because
the pieces line up perfectly. Okay. So we're talking about the emergence of the BRIC, which is a new. What they're trying to do is upend the global world order and the United States value of its dollar and as the global reserve currency.
Okay.
That's what they're trying to do. China's making aggressive trade partners in the in South America right now.
Yes.
Instead of buying the soybeans from us when they got into the trade war with Trump, they went to Brazil for those soybeans, right?
Right.
They invested billions of dollars.
Argentina.
Brazil. Nope, they went to Brazil.
Brazil first?
Brazil for the soybeans, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The issue is not Venezuela, but Venezuela selling oil to China. China needs oil to produce plastic products, and they need oil also to they basically create all the shipping market in the lane. So if you choke off the shipping fuel and you make it cost more for things to ship all the way across the globe, it hurts their trade prospects. Okay.
Right.
Now, opposed to us, who have one of the highest value currencies in the world, if we were to start trading more with with South America, instead of trading with China, trading across the globe, it would make a much better situation for us because it would be less in shipping, less overall business wise. I mean, everybody can think like a businessman. So
I don't think the moves that they're displaying, they're just giving a reason to deploy the troops.
Do you think,
and,
question for you, do you think it's about the drugs, or do you think it's about that oil?
I don't think, well, international law says that the spoils of war can only be collected during a war.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that basically means that if we were to say get into a war with Iraq, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's already happened, and we were to secure their oil fields. While we were in that war, we would be able to use their oil in Iraq to fund our war effort.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
After the war is over, there would have to be a negotiated,
settlement,
return of those resources to the country of origin. Okay?
Right. Right.
So it's not about the oil fields themselves. It's more about securing trade partners in the Southern Hemisphere. And the reason why they're using, because the reason why, if you look at the countries he's putting pressure on, he's putting pressure on Colombia and he's putting pressure on Venezuela.
Right.
Why he's doing that is because he's securing the Panama Canal so that any shipping that goes through those lanes has to be inspected. It has to be, it makes it a lot more difficult for China to bring whatever they want to bring into the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
Not only that, but I understand what he's saying where he wants to topple Maduro.
Right.
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because the country's already destabilized.
Right.
There's no central governing power. There's no real police to speak of.
Oh, I don't dispute that he wants to topple Maduro. Me
neither.
I don't dispute that. So.
Me neither. And what the young man was saying before, I don't know if he was young or not. He sounded a little younger to me. Was that the United States has always had this strategy of regime replacement when they're not friendly to us.
Right.
This all comes from the Monroe Doctrine. This is all, we install who we want where to position ourselves in the best place of power. So I'm not really against Maduro being there because he's just a symptom. He's a successor of Hugo Chavez, and Chavez was a symptom of the socialism that the country descended into. Okay. Venezuela used to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. They were a top 5 country, one of the best educational systems in the world until the socialists came in. They said, we want more. We envy wealthy people. Yada, yada, yada. We all know how socialist revolutions happen.
Right.
I don't need to explain it. So,
wait a minute. Are you saying this? You said it's all about the Panama Canal is having trade partners.
It's about the Panama Canal and setting up a competitor to OPEC.
So
and keeping the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. That's what this is about.
Somebody had to been thinking long term on this for this to have put this into play. Do you think it was a wait a minute? Did we expect Brazil to turn around and sell their things to China, or did this precipitate?
Yes, they expected that.
So this is where
there are people in our government who are far more intelligent than you and I, and they think a lot farther.
Right. This has got. If you think of if what you're saying is true.
Oh, it is true.
You think it's true. It's true. You think
it is true. It is true. They're already going through Congress to set up a replacement to OPEC. OPEC is all the Middle Eastern countries that control the price of oil.
Wow.
They get to set the price of oil. Wow. The United States is actually the largest producer of oil in the world. Fun fact, right? Mm-hmm. You would have never known that. So right now, even when we pump oil, we are at the liberty of foreign states to set that price of oil. Do you think that's in national interest for us to be at the liberty of a foreign cartel?
No, it's not our interest. No.
Right. So you're actually agreeing with the Trump policy, whether you want to or not. It's not even chess. It's like moving a brick forward.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to think about this more because I got to think this through a little bit more. Okay. Because
I know I'm kind of blowing your mind because this has nothing to do with drugs. if they wanted to go bomb the cartels, they bomb the cartels and they would just deal with the political fallout. Nobody gives a shit about cartels.
It didn't have to do with drugs. It had something to do. It was bigger. I just didn't think it
It's
was
much,
bigger. On
much, much bigger. It's about the global reserve currency and upending the status quo. Europe is no longer a reliable trade partner of ours.
So they're trying to stick to the Monroe Doctrine. They're trying to stick to that particular doctrine, which they're trying to get back to that doctrine. Let's put it that way. Or,
well, it always has kind of been the policy since Monroe. Our foreign policy always has kind of been the Monroe Doctrine, which is we control the Western Hemisphere. Okay,
and we only do a trade part. We only have our trade partners with amongst.
We have almost lost all of our trade partners in South America, and that has destabilized the country because with China buying all of the resources out of those countries, it's causing a huge influx of trade deficit to us. And trade deficit isn't always the worst thing in the world. You could have a little trade deficit. Trump, that's why Trump did the bilateral tariffs on anybody, because he didn't want China to be able to find a third-party country to ship their products through into the United States at a lower tariff rate. That's why it was a blanket tariff on everybody. It had nothing to do with, oh, we hate you more, we hate you less. That would have been a stupid move, okay? This whole blanket tariff thing, that was not Trump's policy. Trump is not an intelligent enough man to come up with these strategies all on his own. There are very intelligent people around him.
It's got to be.
The Republican Party is full of extremely intelligent people. Okay? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish a new global world order. Okay? And that starts with securing the Western Hemisphere, which means that our major trade partners have to be Brazil. We've already got Argentina, okay? Venezuela, Colombia, some of the richest soils on earth are Colombia and Venezuela. So what it's going to take is investment from the United States into those countries. What he's doing is, by putting the warships into the Caribbean, is he's putting pressure on Maduro to act right or else. Venezuela has already offered access to its oil fields for all of our companies. They've offered everything to avoid a war with us. We're not going to war with them. They don't want the shipping lanes controlled by the United States there. And that's the problem that they see. Because then they won't be able to basically upend the price of OPEC, which was what they're doing by shipping oil to China outside of the OPEC alliance. So this is where, because Venezuela isn't a part of OPEC. We are a part of OPEC, so we got to go with what price they're telling us. So if Trump were to secure Argentina, Venezuela, Colombia, which also has oil, Guyana, which nobody even knows that's a country between Brazil and Venezuela, which also has some of the richest oil reserves in the world. If he gets Mexico back on board, he has the entire Western Hemisphere secured in trade partnership to mount a war effort if China wants to get froggy. That's what this is about.
See, now
I hate to speculate on a war with China. But that's what we're talking about here. Chevron and BP are already in Venezuela. There's no more access that they can give us to their oil fields that's going to deter a war. So
you came up here and gave a whole lesson. Now I really got to think about. I got to really think about this now.
Well, that's what this is about. Right now we're at the liberty of Middle Eastern countries and their oil. Okay. Even Canada, which has some of the largest oil reserves in the world as well, because of the doctrine that Mark Carney and all the liberals in Canada with their, we have to have net zero emissions by 2030 and every electric car by 2035. It's killing their economy. If you look up the Canadian economy in the G7, they are the lowest growth country in the entire G7, which is the top, basically, economies in the world. They're not growing at all. It's because they're moving away from oil. The only beneficiary of net zero policies is China. They control all the production of windmills. They control all the production of solar panels. They control all the production of the world's dysprosium. Do you know what dysprosium is?
No.
Dysprosium is a material that they use for microchips. Okay, it's one of the most important materials in the world right now in a global economy. It's what they coat the microchips with to keep them sealed and keep them. I don't know the exact science. I'm not a computer guy or anything like that, but the basic is that they use it for microchips, and it's absolutely essential to have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
you see how this is all laying out. So the reason why I started by asking you those three questions was this is the actual premise of the strategy that Trump's implementing.
Okay.
So you're not against what he's doing. You're more against how he's presenting it to the world.
Right.
But what he's doing is actually a liberal strategy where you wrap a policy in something that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So like, let's take for instance, and I know you're black, and don't take offense to this. I'm white, but let's talk about DEI and how they use that verbiage. Okay. Nobody has a problem with diversity and inclusion.
Right.
Like nobody gives a shit about those two words. It's sure, I'm not against that at all. Nobody in their right mind would say they're against those two words.
Right.
But that little word in between, right? Equity.
Right.
Equal outcome. That's what that word means.
Right.
That means that everybody who does this exists, and no two people are the same, deserve an exact equal outcome.
Right.
That's more of a Marxist doctrine. Okay, that's the premise that, okay, let's see here. We have a black lawyer who went to Harvard. We have a white lawyer who went to Harvard. Both of them went to Harvard, got the exact same scores. They deserve the exact equal outcome in life.
Right.
And it takes into account nothing else. Divorce, disease, whatever you want to say, addiction.
Right.
They're just saying that they deserve it. It's the same premise that the state decides what you earned.
Right.
That's kind of where the Democrats have placed themselves in the world right now, in my opinion.
Right.
And I'm neither a Democrat or Republican. I don't have a dog in the fight.
Right.
And I'm also not a huge Trump supporter as well. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for him because I'm a Christian.
I think we're just the puzzle pieces are moving so much for everybody. And it's like we really don't have
that was the goal. That was the strategy though. You have to understand.
Right.
You have to shake the board up. So people have to move all their pieces back into position while you're placing yours faster. And that's exactly the strategy that Trump did. Come in, create the chaos, walk away, take everything with you. And that's what he's doing. And he's winning too, which is what I think bothers a lot of people in the world is because everybody likes to talk about these topical subjects. Is drugs destroying America? Not really, no, but it is hurting a lot of people. That's a realistic.
I mean, I didn't want to
right?
come across. I wasn't trying to be crass or careless. That wasn't what I was trying to. That wasn't what I was trying to say. What I want or express. I was trying to say in the overall picture, the oligarchs and the people that are in charge that are doing these things don't really care. The drug war is not their end goal. That's what I was trying to express. Not that nobody cares. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
right.
That's not.
If he cared about the drugs, he'd be going after Mexico. Let's be honest with ourselves, because all of them are smuggled into the southern border.
Right. Right.
It has absolutely fucking nothing to do.
And so I wasn't trying to be. I wasn't trying to come across as callous or crass. I get that we have a lot of people who have, died because of drugs and X, Y, and Z. But I just don't think that's a priority for this administration right now. I think it's just they're wrapping it up in something.
You're agreeing with me. You're saying that they're wrapping it up in a soft button 80-20 issue. Nobody in their right mind is gonna be like, yeah, don't kill the drug dealers. Like.
Right.
How are you gonna? If that's your political position, you have to stand on stage in front of America and say it was wrong to blow up those boats. You're gonna lose a lot of fucking votes.
Right.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Right.
Okay. If that's the position that the Democrat Party has to take to try to win back power, they're gonna lose in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And once you explain exactly what you were thinking, once you explain exactly what it could be a bigger picture than even what.
Oh, it absolutely is a bigger picture. You don't move warships that cost $1 billion into the Caribbean for
That's
oil.
what I
Who
tried to
cares about
explain.
oil?
That's what I was trying to explain. You don't move those kind of ships.
It's not oil. It has nothing to do with oil. It has everything to do with the petrodollar. It has everything to do with the global reserve currency, and it has everything to do with securing our trade partners in South America. Because if we lose Brazil as the primary trade partner of the United States, we lose the global reserve currency. So if we somehow gain influence in Venezuela and we reestablish Colombia as a global economy, then what happens is Brazil will be forced to stop trading with China, and then China will have to seek resources elsewhere that aren't exactly great for their economy. That's what he's doing. He's putting pressure on China in every way he can. They're like, oh, on a whim, he started this trade war. Do you think people are that dumb in this administration where they do not recognize that China is emerging as a global superpower and the only competitor to the United States?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, has China been fair in their trade practices with the United States?
Maybe not.
The answer is no.
No.
The answer is no.
Okay.
They have not at all been fair to us. When you have, let's say you're a small business owner, right? And you want to ship your t-shirts to China. What do you think the tariff on your t-shirt going to China would be?
I wouldn't even hazard a guess. Give me a guess.
Well, I could tell you the number. It's 32%. Okay. Now, before Trump took office, if China, who could produce goods much faster at a much larger scale, wanted to ship a t-shirt to the United States, how much of a tariff did you think before Trump took office they'd be paying on that?
Before he took office?
Before he took office.
Not much. Maybe 5%? 10%?
4%. Close, 4%.
4%. Okay.
So, right. So that's what this is about, okay?
Okay.
He's establishing a new global trade order. He's getting us off the petrodollar, that the United States controls the price of oil in the United States and not Arab countries. He's getting us off of, he's trying to reestablish and maintain the dollar as the global reserve currency. To do that, he needs to seek allies in South America. You've seen a lot of South Americans coming through the White House lately, haven't we?
Right. Right.
The one guy in Argentina with the crazy hair that I can never remember his name. He just had Brazil there last week.
Right. Okay.
Just yesterday, he took away not only China's beef out of Australia, but also signed rare mineral deals for United States companies in Australia.
Okay.
This is a aggressive strategy. It is.
Right.
And people don't typically react to change well. It's always doomsayers. Oh, this is going to destroy the world, this, that, and the other. No, it's not going to destroy the world.
I have to think. Now you're making me think whether these tariffs were
they were planned. This was all going to happen before they already decided what was going to happen before he came into office.
Because it's everybody scrambling around talking about tariffs this and tariffs that, tariffs this, and it's going to destroy this, that, and the third. But they have a plan for these tariffs. Because the first thing that came out when we saw these tariffs was, damn, he putting tariffs on places that don't even have to have tariffs. He doing X, Y, and Z with the tariffs, but he already had
so that China can't ship its products in the United States through third-party countries. That's what that was about. And it was specifically about China. Because if the United States allowed, let's say, electric car manufacturers into the markets in the United States, do you think that would be good for the American car manufacturers?
No.
Because they could produce a car a lot cheaper.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the yen is not worth nearly as much. It's like 4 yen to $1 right now. But it's rising. But the yen is rising. If they replace the United States dollar, it's going to be disastrous for our economy. Okay, that's why they went and sought out Russia, North Korea, Brazil, and they were trying to get African countries on board with this. But what China didn't realize about Africa is Africa's having a nationalist movement right now. Okay, the people of Africa have said, we've had enough of being extorted by the West, by China, by India, and by Australia. We're done. And they just throw out, look this up for yourself and tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Did Africa throw out all of the French
somebody mad at what you saying.
What are they saying?
No, I'm saying somebody mad at what you saying because they call it in behind you. Like, oh, now you finna say something different? What's going on?
No, it's not that serious. This is a very aggressive strategy. But if you look at
the chat, been talking. So a couple of people in the chat been saying, I don't agree with that. It's something else. Y and Z.
What else could it be?
Wait a minute. No, I'm saying that's what they're saying in the chat. So I'm saying, I don't know. Who knew what the person who called? Let him be. Okay, let him be. Okay, with it. Thank you for the opinion. I think you had definitely a better opinion than what I had. Although I kind of, I'm not saying I'm right. Of course I'm not
right. If you think I'm wrong, okay, ma'am,
no.
If you think I'm wrong,
I think.
No. I would just like to encourage you to look up what Africa has done with the French banks and the French companies.
Okay.
Supplanted in all of Africa, controlling the Congo, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Sudan. Look up what they did. Okay.
African continent.
And when you see that, you'll understand that I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you for calling. Let's get this next caller, see what they have to say. I appreciate you coming up. Please and thank you. Hit the like and sub if possible. I love to have these conversations because, hey, I'm just dumb. I just want people to come in and give us information. Maybe we have different viewpoints. This is
I just think it's a much deeper issue than what we're being told. If you simply look at the moves being made, you can understand that we're talking about trillions of dollars.
Oh, I knew it was deeper. I knew it was deeper than just killing or blowing up boats. I knew that.
No,
I just
didn't know.
Nothing to do with the boats. You know what I'm saying?
That's how they propagandize the American people to say, "Oh, I love this idea."
Right.
And garners public support. Like we left Vietnam because we lost public support.
Right.
That's what this is about.
Oh, okay. I knew it was something better. I just didn't know what. And thank you for clarifying. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. He said brainwash. Okay, well, let's somebody call in if they got some other point of view. I appreciate you calling. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good night. Bye.
Whoever wanted to call, who wants to call in, call back, whoever had called. I mean, this is a good theory. This sounds more plausible than the shit I had, of course. But I knew it was more than just blowing up boats or drug dealing. I knew it was more than that. I just didn't know what more it was. I thought it was oil. This gentleman right here who just called said it's way more than oil. It's way more than that. And that's the whole point. The whole point is we want to find out what the hell is going on with our country. What the hell is going on? And it's not a matter of me. It's not a matter of me saying I don't care about drug dealing or anything else. That's not what I'm saying. I just thought it was more than just the drugs. It was more than what was going on with that. No, I just don't believe you when you tell me I'm blowing a boat up. Okay. Just for the drugs. I just didn't believe that explanation. That was the point of my thumbnail, saying this is more to do than just drugs. Right? And I believe that. Y'all hit the like button, please, and thank you. Hit the like button. We like to have these kind of discussions. Weird discussions, events, world order, those kind of things. Hey, we got to go back and listen to this. You all make sure you go back and listen to this and see what this gentleman explained to us about why we think they're actually doing the bombing in the Caribbean. Because I knew it was more than what it was. It just was what it was. It's just more than that. And I'm glad somebody got up here and explained exactly what they thought. And it makes more sense that way. Definitely makes more sense that way. It just does. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what the hell we doing. What are we doing with our world? What are we doing in this country? What are we doing? What is the president doing? Is there a big, gigantic strategy? What else? So we're trying to become more isolated. We're trying to centralize our trade partners. So we're trying to stay here instead of other people coming in and having control. We want to have control of our area, X, Y, and Z. I get it. I have to look into it more. Of course, we want to figure out what's going on specifically. Okay. Please give me more likes. Come in, give me more likes. I appreciate the subs. If you can sub to the channel, we have this discussion every night about goofy subjects, sometimes political subject, sometimes, relationship subject. We have these kind of things all the time. Every night around 10 o'clock. Okay? No, he knows what he's talking about. I appreciate it. Hey, he's told my dumb ass something. Sure did. Hey, I'm glad he taught everybody something. Definitely. I have to go back and listen to what he said. Because I appreciate it. I appreciate people coming on and saying, no, you're wrong, X, Y, and Z. I didn't know what it was or what it wasn't like, but this is perfect. It's perfect. Now we have an idea. The president, they have a strategy for what they're doing. It's not about shooting down drug boats. It's about more than that. So we got it. I appreciate it. We don't have another caller come in. If we don't have another caller come in, it's almost 1 o'clock. Y'all hit the like button. Can I get one more like? Please and thank you. One more like. Do I have any subs? Can I get some subs? Please and thank you. I'd appreciate you all subbing to the channel. I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know what the subject is going to be about, but we're going to be here tomorrow. Maybe something that'll kick off in Gaza, maybe something to kick off in the Middle East, maybe something to kick off in, we don't know. With the drug boats, we don't know. All I know is we'll be back here at 10 o'clock tomorrow. I appreciate all the likes. My name is HQ. I thank you for the support. Please sub to the channel so you can get the notification, put the notification button on, so that you know when I go live. But I tell everybody I go live at 10 o'clock at night. So be here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. We all Americans. This is what we are. We're all Americans. We just want to have a conversation. We just want to talk about goofy shit that happens in the news, serious shit. This is what we want. Y'all please hit the like button going in and out. Sub to the channel. Because you see there's over 2,000 videos here. 2,000 videos on this channel. I appreciate all of y'all. And we will be here tomorrow. 10 o'clock. Be here, be square. Thank you all.